you do that? How did you do that? Did you think it was?
There's no game sound. Can you believe it? How weird is that? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All the way at the back. You. No, not you. Yeah, you. Can you hear me? Sure? Okay, good. Tell me if this is too loud. You should be able to hear that. Wait. Let's try that again. Little bit of noise in the background, otherwise it's going to be completely dead fucking silent. Can you hear the music in the background? Is it too loud? Empty Sky with a resub. Thank you very much. You are the Dragonborn. I'm going to press the button after people say they can hear it and it's not too loud. Not too loud? Okay, good. I'm pressing the button. No louder. No, you don't get to decide how loud I put it. The simple question was, is it too loud? Yes or no? Very faint music. Good, that's the plan. Pressing that. Oh, it's difficult to get the straight answers out of people with a straight question, isn't it? It is PTS patch day. Yes, of course. And I'm going to be reading it. So, quick disclaimer before I say hi to everyone. In fact, you know what? I'll say hi to everyone first. Blazer, Paul, Matt, Maureen, Jack Skellington, Lucy and Andy, Quiet George, Jim, how you doing, Jedi Master, CGI Shadows, and Maureen. I said Maureen already twice. It's two Maureens. There's not, there's one. Thank you for joining on YouTube. And on Twitch, we've got Aura, Kimbog, R-Blazer, Dark, Empty Sky, think of the restub, Greg, Hog Wild, Skeleton, Test Bloodline, Brad Guns, Rav, Miss Brick, DJ A&K, Grey Thunder, Lonely Girl, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, Peon Grim, Invidious, Got Online, D Got Online even, Chemical, Lady, So Tallytober, and some other people. Crypto and Dead Jester, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. How low do you want to block cost and stam reg when playing Arcanist tank? It's not specific to the class, it's more specific to what you need personally as a player. If you feel like it's not enough, then add more. If you feel like it's too much, then take some off. It's up to you. Enjoying this year's birthday cake, it's so blue. Yes. Right. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. After that. Bet you missed me? But didn't. First of all, you don't need to tell me that I'm early. I live on the same planet as you. I already know. I work here. I decided to start early. I'm aware. So you don't have to surprise me with, by the way, Xynode, you're 2 hours earlier than usual. I am aware. I've checked with the fun police. It's okay. Spike, thank you for the resub. Massively appreciated. Secondly, and most important of all, today. Yeah, you know I'm one of those streamers that won't take shit. So pay attention here. I will be reading the patch notes live. I will be reading them in order like most people read things in order rather than back to front. If you've already read them, great. Good for you. Don't get ahead of me. If you get ahead of me to get attention out of my chat, you will be timed out because that counts as full-on spoiler. Let me get to it. It's my job to read stuff on my stream. Get the fuck off my stage. Now that we've got that out of the way, be as excited as you fucking like. I'm already ahead of you. Shut up, you made them! We've got Rich in the chat, people. The creative director of ZeniMax Online Studios. Yes, he did write them, technically. Alongside Gina Bruno. Rich got to okay everything. So if anything's wrong, it's his fault. Just saying. Anyway, you haven't read anything. I don't care if you do. It's absolutely fine if you do. Just don't get ahead of me. That's all. Anyway, let's get into this and see what Rich has done with the fucking game. You haven't broken it. Did he nerf the Arcanist? Oh my god. Right. We're getting 2 new dungeons, as you may have seen on today's Bethesda livestream, obviously. Finn had a cheat button. No, you can't actually hit that hard. Only the devs get to do that because that's their perk for the job, I guess. But 2 new dungeons. Icy-ish, Hrothgar-ish, and in Hrothgar-ish. One of them, in fact, is kind of... The only way I can describe it is the Maelstrom Factory. So, if you imagine all of those different rooms are being manufactured in different places, and they've got a conveyor belt of enemies going in and mechanics going off, we walk through that. So that looks fucking nuts for a start, but we'll see that more later. In the meantime, we've got 3 new sets for the Rewards of the Worthy. We've got sets in the new dungeons. We've got new monster sets. We're getting more Undaunted keys from DLC pledges. We've got stackable siege equipment, stackable repair kits, and 2 new mega fucking houses coming up soon. So there's lots and lots of cool stuff. But we're going to get to the juicy shit, obviously. So, 2 new dungeons, new sets, new achievements and titles with the new skin. The base game update, obviously repair kits we went over. Stackable siege weaponry, which means, yes, you can have loads and loads of trebuchets and stack them. Your repair kits in PvP, by the way, are all-purpose repair kits. It's not like one for this type of repair, one for that, like siege, wall, etc., etc. It's all one thing. Get off my stage, Shakespeare. Yeah, right? How you doing, Def? Dead Jester even. And new antiquities. New collectibles. Undaunted keys already gone over. New homes, new furnishings, new container icons. They said in the stream, now I'm not sure how this works, it says new antiquities there, but on the stream it said new mythics. We have not had that happen in a dungeon DLC that I can remember. It's usually overland DLCs or chapters that we get new mythics. We don't normally get them in the base game with a DLC for dungeons. We also don't usually get loads of Cyrodiil stuff or base game kind of stuff for that. We also don't tend to get too much in the way of houses. We get a couple of smaller ones, but these 2 are fucking huge. In fact, the 2 new houses are basically zones for players. Like, you get your own zone. Stackable siege is a great move. It is fucking brilliant. But again, it's all part of their roadmap. They said over 3 years they're going to go and kind of squash in all the combat stuff to make it make sense overall, and we'll see the outcome at the end. It's just going to take some time, and all this is just part of that. Even recently they did a Cyrodiil test. They're not going to tell you what it's about, but they did one. So keep your eyes on it. Combat and abilities, obviously want to check out that. Itemization and sets, brilliant. We'll have that, and companions. So new stuff for that as well. So 2 new dungeons. Oathsworn Pit is the first one that I think that's the first one that Finn showed us, and then Bedlam Vale. This one, he ran through and killed a load of bosses with his nuke buttons. This one, there's a couple of spoilers because we saw some mechanics where there was a room with one of those like mind flake type fucking enemies, horrible spider aliens, where 3 of the Maelstrom bosses were hung up on the ceiling, and it was 3 phases where you had to fight one and the other, and then the other. And also they had the poison and the totems in the same room, so room or arena 6 and arena 7 in the same fight. So that looks quite fucking mad, actually. That one is the one I'm interested in more than the other one. I'm not going to say I'm not interested in both, because I am. But this one, that's the Malakov one. This is the Maelstrom one. Boon to mushrooms. Yeah, fucking boo indeed. He's brought the mushrooms back in a dungeon. Rich, you okayed this stuff. Just saying, you okayed this. You allowed Finn to bring back the hated mushrooms. It better be good. It better be good. Right, anyway. The entrance to Oathsworn Pit is in the northern section of the Reach, and the other one was in the bottom left-hand side of Hrothgar. That was near Old Orsinium, I think. Group RNG is still RNG, right? New skin, which we did see on the stream, but if we get time, I'll show that later, depending on how long these patch notes are. They don't look too bad, actually. We're going to go over the new sets right away, anyway. I also need to turn my fan up, because I'm fucking sweating already. I've got both PCs on, and it's fucking hot. Aim this way, please. Stuck any ads? Good job I haven't started that bit yet. They'll be coming in a minute. Come on, come on, come on! Fucking thing. Hold on. What is the point in a remote control fan if it doesn't do as it's fucking told? Coyote's like excited as fuck. You should be. Right. Okay, here we go. So, Bedlam Vale, the one where it's basically the Maelstrom factory. Excuse me. Light set, max magicka. Healing done, max magicka. Perfect. And then increase the strength of your damage shields. Here, driving and can't mod here, but mod is there anyway. The PS EU server got a lot of active players, or should I stick to PC? Yeah, all the servers got active players. Loads of them. It just depends on what time you want to play, and where you're playing, and who you're talking to, and who you're not. Increase the strength of damage shields by 13% to targets 15 meters or closer to you, increasing your healing done. Also, increase your healing done by 13% to targets for more than 15 meters away from you. Well, that's more. So, the closer they are, the stronger your damage shield. The further away, the stronger the heals. So, long-range healer or close-ranged DK smash and ignis shields. That's different. 2 different effects, depending on range. Medium armor. We've got crit chance, crit chance, crit chance again. Fucking hell. When you deal critical damage, which is borderline inevitable, to an enemy, glass shards. Aha! Glass shards burst 8 meters around them, dealing physical damage to enemies in the burst and applying a sundered status effect, dealing additional physical damage and applying minor breach for 4 seconds. I mean, that's what Sunders does anyway. They're just explaining it. Reduces the target's physical resistance by 2,974. Again, that's what Sunders does. And this effect can occur once every 8 seconds. The damage scales off of your highest weapon or spell damage. So it doesn't say how much it will do on how much it will get to, so I have to test it. But basically, doing critical damage fires shards around the enemy that you hit once every 8 seconds. I mean, pretty standard stuff. Do a crit, make a proc happen. We'll have to see what that does. It probably looks awesome because it's got shards in it. Newest patch notes. Yes, that's why we're here. I'm not going to read old patch notes because old shit. Hi, Zai Ninjas. How you doing? Mask. Oh, no, the heavy one. More health, more stamina. When you taunt an enemy, so tanks, please taunt, you gain a stack of broken shards for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks maximum. You can only gain 1 stack once a second. When broken shards end, you release a stack, release all the stacks even, in an 8-meter blast, dealing physical damage to enemies hit, and applying minor maim to them for 3 seconds. Per stack, broken shards consumed reduce their damage done by 10%. The damage scales off of your maximum health. So the more health, the better to do the damage. Major maim is 3 seconds per stack. Okay, so you can get that up to a maximum of 15 seconds, which is fucking stupid. So major maim in what, area of effect? Let's cool down on it. That's actually pretty good. That can't be right. 8 meter blast, physical damage, all enemies hit major main. 3 seconds per stack. 5 stacks maximum. That is as well. That's fucking nuts. You could almost have... You can have 100% uptime on that. Oh, I see why they've done that. Because obviously the taunt is 15 seconds. And I don't want you to over spam it. But if you're the only tank in the room, I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. That might be quite good. Especially in the Infinite Archive. Just make everything have fuck all damage. Slap that on Nature's Bounty. Job done. Again, the damage scales off max health. We'll have to see how that looks. Because that's going to be basically the opposite of this one. This one does debuff so you can hit harder. And this one makes it so they can't hit harder. Fair. Monster Mask. Crit chance, first of all. Another crit chance shoulder piece. Or one piece. Critically healing yourself or an ally. Grants them Hydro Glass damage shield that absorbs up to 2.6, nearly 2.7k damage shield for 6 seconds. Again, that's going to scale off of stats. While the damage shield holds for 3 seconds after it ends, the target gains minor force, increasing their critical damage by 10%. Holy fuck balls. It's Beast Trap for the group. If you can apply it. And obviously, if you want to stack this other one with it, you can make the damage shield even more stronger. Damage shield for 6 seconds. While the damage shield holds for 3 seconds, you get that afterwards. So you're going to have to make sure that it's pretty fucking strong. You might have to build the stat to increase it. Otherwise, that's going to fall off quite quickly. But on the condition that it lasts for at least 3 seconds, you get that bonus. Had to finish reading before jumping into stream. No problem. Don't get ahead of me. Those are the rules. How you doing, Dragon? Welcome to the stream. Peanut Butter Burrito, also welcome. Repeat some Benny Storm with that. Awesome. What's up, Zai? Slayer, how you doing? Tipper, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Remember, the rules today are quite simple. I'm reading these live, so you're going to hear my take on it. And we're going to talk about stuff and things. But do not get ahead of me. It's exhausting when people do that and try and get attention just because they read it first in private. It's really easy to scroll down, find the bit you want, and go into a stream and shout how cool you are. We are going to go through it all, don't worry. But we can't have people jumping ahead because that kind of derails the stream a bit. Where are we? Oathsworn Pit, the other one, the Malakath one. Pen, weapon and spell damage, weapon and spell damage. On dealing damage, summon Cindermoth for 8 seconds that chases the target and searches for a new one within 8 meters if the initial one is slain. So it just darts around hitting stuff. Great. The first enemy that gets near the Cindermoth causes it to stop and burst after 1 second, dealing flame damage and applying burning to enemies within 8 meters. This can occur once every 8 seconds and scales off of your weapon and spell damage. So basically, any damage spawns a guaranteed burning status effect attack once every 8 seconds. Not bad. I mean, nice to have. There's other ways to get burning, obviously, but I mean, it guarantees it once every 8. If you've got a single target duration increase in the Infinite Archive, plus you've got focused efforts, that is actually quite nasty. So that's actually quite funny because we can look at stuff now and go, oh, who cares about status effect? Well, do you know what? Focused efforts. Just saying. Juno Rex, how you doing? Medium armor, stam recovery, weapon and spell damage, offensive pen, nice base stats, very nice. Healing yourself or an ally makes your target blood hungry for 3 seconds. Dealing direct damage to an enemy makes them bloodied for 3 seconds. Bloodied enemies take 4% more damage from and deal 5% damage from blood hungry to what? That was worded a bit weird. Blooded enemies take 4% more damage from, and I'm assuming that means from you, but it's not stated. From you or from the group? Or in general. And they deal 4% less. So basically, when they're bloodied, they do less damage and you hit them harder. But that, we need to know whether it is for everyone or just for you. That doesn't actually say. That is a typo. Grammatical issue there. Never mind. We'll look at it in game anyway. Black Grove Grounding. Heavy set. Healing taken. Start again. It was late. Tough shit. Max health. After taking direct damage 3 times within 5 seconds, which is easy, you create a 5-meter area for 10 seconds. You and group members who touch the area gain grounding for 15 seconds, reducing the cost of dodge roll by a whopping 20%. And increasing block mitigation by 12. This can happen once every 10 seconds. as long as you're actively getting smacked about, you have 100% uptime on that. Ooh. That's not bad. Welcome to the chat room. Twitch is being twitchy. Some of the messages aren't coming through because it keeps rejoining the chat. It's fucking weird. Don't know why, but it is. Let me refresh that my end. Just realized this is live. Yes, that's what a live stream is. How you doing, Jack? Welcome. Zero Deer. Have a fucking day off. Weapon and spell damage. Attacking an enemy with a fully charged heavy attack throws an axe at your enemy, dealing physical damage and reducing their armor for 5 seconds. This effect can only happen once every 10. So it's got a 5-second fire and then proc for 5 and then down for 5. So it's 50-50 uptime. The damage and armor reduction scale off of the highest of your weapon or spell damage. The axe drops to the ground after traveling to your target for 5 seconds. Touching the axe reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds. Oh, that's fun. So you fire an axe and it gives a debuff for 5 seconds based off of your offensive stats. It has a 10-second cooldown, so you have to wait 5 seconds for it to go again. But if you go stand near it, it wipes the cooldown. Like, halves it, so basically 100% uptime if you can chase around this fucking minigame axe. They've added a minigame to a set. Hello, Zion Ninjas. Twisted, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. You just realized it's live, it is. Achievements we're not going to go over because obviously they're going to be in-game anyway. We can go over that when we actually play the content. Let's see. That's interesting. Good afternoon, Zai. Are you well? Not too bad. Sure, why not? Gear repair. I mean, they didn't already have minigame with Sweet Roll set. I mean, they did, but they had one way before that with the, oh, I've forgotten what it's called. Begins with a fucking T. It was from Imperial City ages ago. Or was it Imperial City Prison? Not Toxic Defiance. That turned into... what did that turn into? Swamp Raider. Ah, forgotten what it's called. My brain has stopped. Essence Thief, that's the one. I knew there's a T in there somewhere. Thief. That was out for years. It's been out ever since Imperial City. So, no, they've always had minigame sets, but they're adding more to it. Let's see. Gear repair kits have been unified. No longer will you receive petty, minor, lesser, common, greater, or grand repair kits. You'll just get equipment repair kits, and those will be able to repair gear of any level, like the grand repair kits of old. So now, all those repair kits are squashed into one kind. Also, Cyrodiil repair kits have been unified. You no longer acquire Siege repair kit, Keep wall masonry repair kit, Keep door woodwork, and so on. They don't exist anymore. Instead, you will have a Cyrodiil repair kit that will work on all the things you have to individual that you used to have individual repair kits for. So you can run up to a wall, fix it. Run up to a door, fix it. Run up to someone's horse and bang it with a hammer. Last break of the day was a new monster set you were talking about. Yes, it was. Cast, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. These can be purchased for 250 alliance points or 90 gold from various merchants. Below are the repair rates for different items. So keep door, keep wall, mile gates, and siege weapons. Siege weapons get 20k, and the rest of them all get 5 a pop. Don't see the patch notes on the forum. Where can I find them? On the forum. So if you go to the forum and you go to the main page, there's PTS patch notes or PTS whatever on the bottom right hand side, depending on your device, and they're there. Packet consolidation is going to improve my life. Yes, big difference, especially for your inventory management and for your wheel, because you don't have to keep slotting all the different types of fucking things. You can just use one. Stackable siege weaponry. Went over this a little while ago when Rich came in and was sneaking. Siege engineers have figured out how to condense siege weaponry so it stacks. Magic, absolute magic. Cyrodiil siege weapons will now stack up to 20. So if you have 20 trebuchets, happy fucking days. That consolidation of repair kits is such a clutch. It's fucking brilliant. If they are maximum health, obviously if they're lower health, then they won't stack because that's a different version of it now. When placing siege weaponry from a quick slot, it will use the siege weapon with the lowest health in your inventory to help ensure your bag space stays fresh. So again, your wheel is cleaner. As all repair kits get converted. Everything is getting squashed. So they all mean the same thing now. New rewards that are worthy. We've got some new sets, people. PvP acquired sets. Now, bear in mind, PvP and PvE sets don't necessarily belong in either one. You can use them where you like, based on a condition. If you have minor Aegis or minor Slayer, those are only in instance content. So, not PvP. The actual bonus. Not the rest of it, but just that. And in PvP, if it says a player, then it only works on players. Outside of that, anything goes. Stack of siege weapons and guild bank. Oh, fuck yes. It's going to be loads of space. Absolutely brilliant, because there's millions of them in Ninja Cake's bank. So, 3 new items attained by rewards that are worthy have been added for you to acquire. So, Oak Father's Retribution, light set, weapon and spell damage, weapon and spell damage, weapon and spell damage. Gain 4/9 offensive penetration against enemies for each major buff they have active. Now remember, this doesn't generally say players, but it's extremely rare for enemies to actually have major buffs. So that's designed to work on players. However, if there's an oversight on that and a particular enemy has a major buff for whatever reason, then that might slide into that. But that's generally the idea. It's because NPCs generally don't have those. They have their own stuff. But anyway, for each one they have, the more pen you have. So if someone is a big tanky fucker and they've got major this, major that, major this, major that, then you have higher pen and you hit them mega hard. You gain 20 weapon and spell damage against enemies for each minor buff they have. So the more tanky or the more buffs they have, the more damage you do to them. Coming from the Oaken Soul builds. Yeah, basically. So if you are holding on to an Oaken Soul ring and you have all those minor buff bonuses and major buff bonuses, while you are at an advantage as far as ease of use is concerned, you also have more uptime on your buffs and bonuses, so you can get caught out easier. However, if you're a really, really, really good player and you've got lots of buffs and bonuses anyway using 2 bars and you can maintain those timers on purpose, which people can, you're also dead. So it's a bit of both. Fun though. Bear in mind though, that is for each one that they have. Maybe you have more resistances that they can even touch and it doesn't make a difference anyway. Fucking McForearms in Infinarch had major annoyance, 100% uptime, in which case you'll get more pen. Oh dear. Right, medium set, blunted blades. Armor, stamina, weapon and spell damage. When you take direct damage, minor innervation, I can't even say words, you heard me the first time, is applied to your enemy for 4 seconds, reducing their crit damage by 10%. Again, that only applies to players anyway, because enemies can't crit. So that's useless against PvE. This can occur once every 5 seconds, increasing your damage done to enemies with minor innovation by 6%. So if you do apply it to them, you will do more damage. Now, this is the problem. Minor innovation is only going to affect enemies negatively by reducing their crit damage, because they're the only ones that can crit. But you could still technically apply the debuff to an enemy in PvE. So they'd have to make sure that they can make sure that doesn't happen. They have to make sure a lot of things. But if they do affect them, even though they can't affect their crit damage, they don't have any, it just puts it on them. Technically, that's a damagey boosting set for the group. They're actually higher than minor. What the fuck is it called? Vulnerability. Or not? Didn't he change it to 10? He did change it to 10 a long time ago, didn't he? Smooch is what? Smooch is in? Oh my god, Early's Eye. No, I'm not! You get the idea anyway. Like Martial Knowledge, where it does more damage on target, or Zen's, where you've got more damage on target. This one is more damage on target. Technically designed for PvP and from PvP, because that's a debuff that only affects the crit damage of a player. But if the effect goes on the target, even though it won't have a negative effect on it, it will still allow you to hit it harder. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been a long fucking day. Heavy set. Armor, health. Reduce the duration of breakable crowd control. Immobilizes and snares on you by 75%. Fucking hell. Reduce the duration of breakable crowd control, immobilizations and snares by 38%. That's actually quite nasty. Reduce the duration of breakable crowd controls. So, I mean, if you get stunned and it's a breakable one, like you can break free, it doesn't last very long. If it lasts 4 seconds, it only lasts 1. So there's no fucking point in breaking. You can save your resources. Reduce the duration of breakable crowd control, immobilize snares. So they've got the cost duration even down. Reduce the duration of your breakable crowd control. Okay, so the opposite effect as well. So while you don't really have to break free, because you're only going to have like a 1 second timer on you for the 4 second stuns, yours are weaker too. So a little bit of balance there. Unusual numbers though. I mean, this one is OP as fuck. The side effect is fine, but I thought that would be a little bit stronger to counter it. What can you do? Everyone's streaming early today. I like it. Yeah, because the patch notes are up and you got to get as many people watching as possible. Otherwise, other people are going to say all their stuff first. And then when it comes to your stream, everyone's going to stream hop with stuff they heard and then tell you like it's their idea. That happens. It's fucking crazy on patch day. It's actually one of the most stressful times as a streamer is patch note day because every expert comes out of their sofa. And I mean out of, not off of. They come out from behind the cushions. New antiquities. Ha. They never have antiquities as an extra on anything other than overland content. So they don't add them on dungeon DLCs. They have done this time. So we've got a new mythic item, which is Talk of the Last Aelid King. Disable all other item set bonuses and increase your damage done by 20%. Reduce your damage taken by 20% and increase your healing done by 20%. The set item disables any other set item bonuses you have equipped, including one-piece bonuses. So if you built, that's fucking strong actually. If you built to have 2 of this, 3 of this, 4 of that, etc., and you just had bits and pieces of sets, overall, you're tanky and healy and damagey as fuck. That's quite good. Sacrifice the game though, you can't have any procs. Any. That's tricky. And quite possibly OP as fuck. That's quite interesting to try and force people to mix and match multiple chunks of sets instead of the whole thing. And remember when I told you before on stream how many different billions of possibilities there are down to the smallest variable about making builds and how many different orders you can put them in and all that kind of stuff. And people are like, well, no one does that. No one does part of a set. Well, first of all, they do and they always have done. Secondly, here's a good excuse to do so. No proc Cyrodiil. Well, this isn't a proc. So, yes, that would be fucking perfect. I can see that already actually being adjusted. No other set item bonuses you have equipped, including other one-piece bonuses. So, that's insane. Imagine normal crafted gold out gear. Well, I mean, crafted is as important as any other gear in the game, so there's no... It's not really a gauge for that. 2 mythics, you can't have other mythics. You only have 1 mythic at a time. So you could equip double elegant just to claim you were using elegant. I mean, you could, but then you'd have 2 pieces that aren't used. So you'd have to put 8 pieces instead, like 4 and 4. But then that would still be 5 and 3, so no. Does it mean no stat bonuses from the sets? No, it's the active effects that happen. See, the item sets actively disables any other item set bonuses you have equipped, including other one-piece. Ooh, actually. See how they've read that. Disable all other item set bonuses. No, it wouldn't wipe out every single one. That would be pointless. It should make it so that your 5-piece, 3-piece, 2-piece, whatever bonuses, like monster sets, 3-piece bonuses, etc. So 2, 3s, and 5s shouldn't fire. But it is written as though it turns off all bonuses. So that's tricky. Only traits and enchants as you read it. Where did you read enchants? Where did you read enchants? That, if it's just as it is, and it turns off every single set bonus possible, that would be shit. However, if it turns off the 5 pieces, the 4 pieces, 3-piece, 2-piece, etc., if they're active procs or effects, then that wouldn't be so bad. Player testable, 100%. That's why we're talking about it. We haven't actually seen it yet, but we'll see. Again, this set item actively disables any other set item bonuses you have equipped, including other one-piece bonuses. I don't know why it's say one-piece, because, again, you can't have 2 mythics, unless they do actually mean turning off all stats, which would suck. That on its own, if you turn off procs, would be great. That part of it, a little worried about. We'll see. New outfits, new pet, a mirror, more mud crab, nice. Body markers, we can't see them at the moment, but there's one purchasable for 100,000 Telvar. But this time requires 50 siege Cyrodiil merits to use, and can be purchased that way. Undaunted keys. So, this has been altered. Undaunted have finally recognized the increased difficulty of the daily dungeons quests offered by Agagabubu, Chief Bane. the orc. Accordingly, the Undaunted key rewards have increased to incentivize... Okay, basically, these ones haven't been affected at all. DLCs only. I was going to read the whole fucking thing, but there's no point. Normal, 2 keys from 1. So if you were doing DLCs before and you got 1 key, you're now getting 2. I got boo-boo. Yeah, you like that? Veteran, you'll get 3 instead of 1. Because before it was 1 for normal, 1 for vet, 2 for hard mode. 2 for hard mode. Now it's 2 for normal, 3 for vet, 4 for hard mode. So people, can anyone link? I love how people do that. They always come in to your stream and ask you to give them the link. There is a link. Let me get it in a minute. But surely it would be easier for you to look them up in the first place rather than tell the streamer that you're not going to watch anymore. I'm having a sad. Let me get a link for you. Hold on. In fact, where's one of the mods got one? I'm going to have to go online now. I'm going to have to do what you should be doing. Here we go. So I'm going to go onto Google. I'm going to go Elder Scrolls Online PTS. And then I'm going to go to the page, the forums. I'm going to press on the top one. And I'm going to link it for you. Half of that is a joke. The rest of it is joining someone's stream to ask them to link you stuff so they can go away. It's counterproductive. Right. Anyway, more keys. Enjoy. There's the link. If you need it again, I'll post it again. But everyone should be able to click that. Look at it in your own time. Don't jump ahead of it, though, because I'm reading it in order. 2 new homes. We did see those on the video today on the Bethesda live stream. They're fucking huge. They're basically zones for characters or players. New furnishings. We can't see them at the moment. We'll look at them in game. New container icons. Again, that's cool stuff, but we can't see them until we're in the game, so it's irrelevant. Increased keys are nice. Fill up my sticker book with shoulders quicker. You will, unless your RNG is shit. Max Google skills achieved, right? Late to the patch note talk. Don't worry, the VOD will be saved anyway on both Twitch and YouTube, so you can rewatch it if you want to. This stuff only really counts for PC. So this is all kind of minimum spec updates and some kind of optimization to your system depending on whether you're using an older one or not. Because obviously older systems are going to start to struggle. And newer systems are going to find it easier. But then there's lots of different things to mess with over time. So that is going to bore the fuck out of most people. Not because it's not important, but because lots of people are from different places. Some people on the stream play PC, some play console, and Xbox and PlayStation people are quite frankly going to fucking switch off because they don't understand any of it. So that is all in there. I'm going to put this in the chat now, actually, because you are going to need it. If you want to read up on what is happening to the PC spec side of things, that is all there. So we're going to skip ahead on that one. But basically performance updates and stuff depending on your system. Right. Now the juicy stuff. Ready? So, during this PTS cycle, we're again supplying 2 templates for you to utilize at 25 and max level. So if you're playing on the PTS, top left-hand side of the screen if you are using keyboard and mouse UI. If you're using console UI, then you need to use your back button. Use the back button, it'll bring down a menu. It can actually make a brand new character with 3,600 champion points. If not, you can use one of the other ones. We get more room in houses. Let me finish what I'm reading. Where the fuck did I get to? See how easy that is. Max level template of all icons within the inventory container, including 2 new bags for Scars of Ophelia items and collectibles. So they'll all be inside there. If you're not used to it, there's loads of boxes that you can open. They have gear in them and they're all categorized. Well, this one is actually for this actual DLC. So look for one that says Scars of Ophelia if you go on to PTS. Most people that go on to PTS know that anyway, but it's there. Twitch being twitchy. It's nothing I can fucking do about it. Item set collections and motifs will no longer be automatically unlocked for all PTS template characters. That's an additional adjustment. So I would assume that so you can test whether they actually get consumed or not, because sometimes they fuck up. Item sets and motif books will be available in the armory, jewelry, weapons container, and the crafter's limited library within the ultimate crafting crate. Again, the boxes that you get on PTS, ultimate crafting crate is what you're looking for. If you wish to access the latest available items and sets and motifs, be sure to check out these containers. Reduce the quantity of food and drink consumables in a tester's lunchbox to a maximum stack size for each item to avoid overflowing in inventory of multiple stacks. And PTS template characters now also start with a Raging Coast Way Shrine in the Deadlands. So again, if you're making a new character, drop down menu with the back button or top left hand side of the screen if you're using the keyboard and mouse UI. There's a couple of changes, there's a couple new boxes, and now you won't have to fill your inventory with loads and loads of food like I keep doing, and I run out of space on PTS. Yeah, I know. Real first world problems. Might zoom in a bit closer. Appreciate it reading out loud, but it helps keep track when we dodging. I'm not going to be able to say that for everybody because unfortunately, if I zoom in too fast, someone can say zoom out. If I zoom out too fast, someone can say zoom in. It's kind of where it is. It's already at 121%, 120%. If I say one for one and no for another, I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'll highlight it, but the point of me saying it is kind of there. Where the fuck are we going? If everyone asks me for adjustments, I'm never going to get there. You can follow along on the PTS forum. You can. That's true. Right. New year, new stuff. So, greetings to New Year is upon us. Particularly excited for 10th anniversary of the Elder Scrolls Online. This year begins with... I can't even do that. I'm going to delete that. This year begins, and it will surely be a celebration to remember with it. The combat team has been working diligently at preparing the game for scribing, and this update holds a few of the meteor adjustments and balancing to prepare for that system. It's easier to read it when it's not highlighted, actually. Mike knows what's up. Mike is here! I know. Some people can't see, and I'd be there all day saying you zoom in yourself or don't zoom in, or I zoom in or you don't zoom in. I can't do that for everyone. While it's a fair request, if everyone asked me for something to do for them, I'd piss off a few saying no. And I'd piss off a few saying yes. Connor's on his voice is no bullshit. Take on patches. And it is no bullshit, it's true. It's also I can't read. No. Traditionally, the first update of the year focuses on target and larger systems within the combat itself, as well as more in-depth reworks of additional to existing abilities and item sets, etc. This will be seen as well. Granted, they might not rock the boat as much as other years, since after 10 years, the boat is pretty huge. I think they're preparing us for the worst here. So, our goals on this update focus mostly on the following. Improving the experience of status effects. Ha ha ha! For those of you that don't know, all damage is basically the same, except its name. So, poison or magic are the same damage output. However, they have different side effects, i.e. status effects, and that's where you build towards. That was where their combat kind of goal was going for a long time, and now they're kind of enhancing that a little bit. Same as fire. Fire and poison are the same as an impact or as a damage effect being done, apart from the visuals. The only difference is their status effect, or if a buff pushes that damage type. Flat, they're all the same. So it's a choice as to which effect you want secondary. Looks badass. Brandon, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Making damage shields slightly more interactive with the minor and major system. Improving taunts visibility and readability. To be fair, that is quite fucking obvious. But, okay, fine. If you're going to enhance that, no problem. Targeting some underloved playstyles and abilities will shake up to their functionality and visuals. Status effects were our main priority. I just said that. As almost all of them have received new additional functionality changes to help make them feel more diverse from one another. They do, but some are a little close. For example, poison has been adjusted to deal execute scaling damage. Whoa! While concussion deals more bonus damage to recently affected targets. Please see a doctor if you experience repeated concussions. Good joke there. In addition, all of the direct damage status effects, sundered, overcharged, concussed, chilled, and disease. Who knows what these are? So sundered is physical, overcharged is magic, concussed is lightning, chilled is ice, and diseased is disease. Have received significant damage increases to help them compare better to their overall counterparts. I know, right? No, the taunt thing is awesome. Over taunt situations is horrible. I mean, it is if people don't understand what they're doing. And I got videos for that. Of course, with the adjustment to status effect comes plenty of knockoff effects, so we have other changes to abilities, passives, and items sets in tandem. Now, before I even go any further, this obviously makes sense, because if you are going to add an execute to poison, and you have, let's just say for argument's sake, you're stacking several things, right? You have the Master's Bow, which increases weapon damage and spell damage on target, from Poison Injection, which is an execute-based ability that does more damage at lower health, from the status effect increase, or poison increase from the DK, actually, the poison increase, plus your sheer venom that procs from execute, plus now poison status effect actually escalates. If you start stacking all that shit together, with Bloodthirsty multiple times, I can see how that might be a little bit one-sided eventually. So it obviously makes sense that they've got to fuck with that. Why did the music die? Your video paused. Continue watching. Yes, please. What the fuck? Damage shields now will interact with major and minor vitality and defile to make building around them or countering them more available. Taunt will now display how many times it has been targeted recently by Taunted in a buff tray. Taunt immunity now displays unique visual effects to help improve clarity and understanding, and taunt immunity is both harder to experience and less devastating, but you still don't want to have it happen. That is when two people argue backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, and the enemy, after 5 times doing that, if you haven't overlaid it at a decent time or gap, will just say, fuck it, I'm only going to listen to the last one. That is a thing, but that's when you're going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It's basically kind of an anti-troll because some people try and fuck with you. So while you can go backwards and forwards with targets, if you do it too quickly, it will punish you for it. But again, the gauge for that, or the gap even between taunts, is actually not that bad. It's more trolls that do it, or people that argue. Release under an Arcanist tank and new Arcanist with only one skill in that bar. Okay. Moving on. Your primary focus for class adjustment our primary focus for class adjustment this update has been on the Sorcerer class, where we've seen a sizable amount of feedback over the years on how the class feels significantly weaker when not using pets. Agree to disagree, but also understand. Yep. As well as lacking many support options for group interaction. So I half agree, and I half don't agree. So you can make a very valid sorcerer without pets, and always have been able to. But I understand how people love using the free damage all the time, even if you forget to cast it stuff, and feel like it's easier to push with that than anything else. You do have to think a bit more outside the box if you're going to use no pets, I guess. To remedy this, we've reworked a handful of morphs, passives, and tweaked a few numbers and abilities. In case has received numerous improvements to make it more universally applicable. Restraining Prison has been reworked to Vibrant Shroud and is now an Area of Effect burst heal ability. And also enfeebles enemies, while Daedric Minefield is now Daedric Refuge, which grants you and allies a damage shield when walking over its area. In addition to these bigger reworks, the Expert Summoner passive now offers dynamic for both pet builds and non-pet builds, making sure you read more. Make sure you read more in the Sorcerer section to see all the specific adjustments. Bear in mind, while we are excited about that, nobody read ahead and post that in the chat. It's a dick move. Be excited and read ahead if you want, but don't post it in the chat. We are going to get there. Big excite indeed. We've also made big changes to one of the more polarizing Necromancer abilities, Blast Bones. Both Blast Bones and Stalk and Blast Bones have been overhauled and renamed as Sacrificial Bones and Gravelord's Sacrifice, respectively. Both versions now summon a skeleton that will sacrifice themselves to the caster to enhance your necromantic abilities and damage over time effects for the duration, with Gravelord's Sacrifice increasing the duration and allowing you to cast a corpse summoning ability on yourself. We specifically did this to help reduce the intense demand on complex rotation requirements of the class, as Blast Bones demands an activation once every 3 seconds minimum, making it very difficult to maximize and play around for those who do enjoy the class's current flow. However, we've made sure to leave Blighted Blast Bones as the original form, a bit slightly cheaper cast. So to continue summoning skeletons, hell bent on blowing your foes to hereafter. So, this explained better in the actual notes. I'll get to it. I've already understood it, but I will read the rest of it. The flame damage Blast Bones is the one that is going to be affected. And to be fair, it does more damage at long range is not quite as clear as people thought. It does the same damage whether it goes max range or zero range. But if your target runs and it has to chase, that's when it ramps up. The only time that really happens is in PvP, when people run away, because people always run away. So altering one of the morphs is not necessarily a bad move. We will read on it though. While the listed, but that also technically turns it into an execute, doesn't it? If it fires poison status effects. While the above listed changes were our main focus, you can still expect to see additional balance tweaks, bug fixes, and other miscellaneous adjustments along the way, so please make sure to check out the rest of the patch notes below. We look forward to seeing all the new ideas and feedback come in, so please make sure to provide feedback in the relevant sections. Did you hear that? Provide feedback in the relevant sections. That means say what you don't like or do like and why, based on experience, not just on paper, and don't just go, fix your fucking game, because guess what? The real world is not as simple as that with 27 million plus lines of code. Just saying. If you want things done and you expect better, first of all, actually respond properly. And secondly, tell them why. We wish you all a happy new year, new life festival. May your journeys lead you to warm sands, and we hope to see you in Tamriel. New life festival. This was written a while back. Written a while back. Combat abilities in general. So fixed an issue where Bash did not scale dynamically with critical chance stat it used. Fixed an issue where abilities and that offered a passive slot bonus that persisted through bar swap could become lost if you had them on both bars and then one removed. That happened a lot with potions and Fighters Guild stuff. Evil Hunter. Fixed an issue where knockback abilities that were sourced from projectiles such as Scattershot could cause some NPC positions to become visually desynced from their actual placement. Made additional back-end adjustments to Taunt to improve its readability in combat while making it harder to enter Taunt immunity. Good. When you taunt an enemy, an additional debuff now appears to show how many times the target has been taunted by another source, rather than being hidden. Yeah, because you have to mentally time it. Excuse me. Insidious, Silver, and 12. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. No, we're not. No, that's not what I said. Note that a taunt only generates one stack. Sorry, start again. Only generates a stack beyond one stack when a target who is not the original taunt applier uses the taunt on the enemy. Read that. You know, I've told you before, you can reapply your taunt, especially if you're the single tank, over and over if you need to. Still applies. You don't make it kind of immune to anyone else listening on your own. You're fine. It's in a group. Don't argue too quickly. Swap at pace. Reduce duration of taunt stack counter to 7 seconds down from 12, so they fall off sooner between multiple casters. So if you've got a troll in the room going backwards, forwards really quickly, then obviously that's going to be a pain in the ass, but they brought it down anyway. Taunt immunity now lasts 7 seconds rather than 12, so the boss isn't going to run around the room like a fucking lunatic, and it's also going to be able to be clawed back if someone does something wrong. Get your words out. How you doing, Ian? Welcome to the stream. So now aligns with the duration of the stat counter. You can use it to reference how long your target will be taunt immune. Taunt immunity now actively flushes previous taunts from the debuff tray rather than appearing to retain them. So before, if you had that effect happen, and someone's trolling you backwards and forwards, now it's not listening to you anymore, you had to wait 12.3 fucking seconds to get the control back. Now you don't. 7. So, kick that fucker. Taunt immunity now plays a very distinct visual effect and displays an additional icon to denote when a target has become taunt immune. Note that targets that are naturally immune to taunt from their own effects and mechanics will not display this. So I don't know if it's intended or not, but YOLO can't be taunted after he lands in Infinite Archive. I'm pretty sure that's not intended, but he can't. And also the Manti, if you spam that too much in Sanctum Ophidia, she will lose her shit and run around the room. So when that one can't be taunted, that obviously can't be applied. Let's read this bit. Come on. We'll continue to try and aid visibility and understanding for the one of the most hidden but most important mechanics for tanks to know by adding additional player visual fields with taunts, so you don't need to rely on add-ons to see important behaviors. See? Base game stuff is being made easier for you to see. Made several adjustments to status effects to ensure that they are closer in power to one another rather than clearly favoring damage over time status effects like burning or poison or hemorrhage. Fair, they are trumping the rest of them unless you're doing a fuck ton of direct damage and boosting it specifically. While these effects will likely still remain stronger in terms of their total damage production, we've significantly increased the damage that the other status effects deal on their application, while also adding more flavor to differentiate each effect. Ready? Burning. Reduce the damage of the status effect by 6%. Don't give a fuck. This value was used as a standard power for all other status effects. Well, that's back to normal if you use Engulfing Flames anyway, so whatever. Obviously Engulfing Flames would have boosted that in other scenarios, but if you don't have it with you, I mean, rip. But if you do, it stays the same as it would do at base. Chilled. Increase the damage to status effect by 106%. Ouch. Stay with me on this one. The activation of it is direct in the first place. It applies minor maim, and if you've got an ice staff, it applies brittle. At the same time, if you're a warden, you have increased damage with chilled. So that can escalate quite nasty with that particular class. So happy days. But also what you have to consider is burning gets enhanced by the DK because you get flame damage increase anyway. So very
Winning. I love winnings. Drinks all around.
high increase to that, but it is quite shit unless you're a Warden at the moment, as far as the damage is concerned anyway. Concussed, increase the damage of the status effect by 106%. Hello, Lazy Sork. This effect now deals an additional 15% damage to targets that have recently been concussed. This operates the same way as the Wall of Elements conditional effects do. So, if you concuss it, it takes more damage for a period of time. Is that for the duration of the status? Is Rich still here? He's going to say that's player testable. I know he's going to say that's player fucking testable. If so, it makes perfect sense, because concuss is what, like 4 seconds? Given minor vulnerability comes from it as well, you're obviously going to do more damage to that target generally. But that's a separate one. So, fucking rip. Diseased, increase the damage by 88%. This effect now also deals additional damage in a 6-meter radius around the target, applying minor defile to all enemies up to once every 4. That's fucking mad. Fucking hell. So that's now an area of effect debuff and proc. Now deals additional damage in a 6-meter radius around the target, applying defile to all enemies. Generally speaking, debuffs that come from procs will only hit 6 targets at once, but the damage will hit infinite. That's player testable heavily. Disease after Necromancer ulti. After anything that does disease. Dude, if you hit a single target hit with it and apply the status effect, pop! So have loads and loads of status on a disease glyph, which most people don't actually fucking use. Bam, easy peasy. Nightblade's gonna be fucking happy. They're gonna do single target spamming with disease hits and do area of effect damage if they apply the status. It's fucking nice. Hemorrhage, reduce the damage of this status by 58%. I know why, it's loaded to fuck. It already has Mangle on it, but still. This effect now stacks up to 3 times, increasing the damage output by 100% per stack. What the fuck? This will result in a 25% damage increase when the maximum stacks are compared to before. What the fuck, dude? What have you done? Lazy Bones is gonna wreck in Infinite Archive. Absolutely wreck. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Dead. Stack that with 5 focused efforts. Good fucking night, throw out Repla fucker. Wow. I thought this was a fair change, although a little salty about it. I understand. Because it's front loaded with fucking Mangle. No, let's just have 3 stacks instead. Work harder, hit harder. Oh my god. While dealing less damage if you cannot consistently keep up the stacks actively. The damage now updates dynamically per tick. So it's basically like carve. It's triple stacks. Good night, fucking McForearms. Fucking right. This status effect no longer applies Mangle. So that's where the balance was. Before it was OP as fuck with Mangle. Now it's OP as fuck if you stack it, but no Mangle. I'm not actually heavily mad about that because the status effect itself was here's damage over time. But it had an extra effect, which was so fucking strong. Now that would encourage people to actually utilize minor Mangle from other locations, other situations in the game. So sets and skills, etc, etc. One skill, for example, Pulsar. We're going to do Bleed on Me, pretty much. Overcharge. Increase the damage of this status effect by 106%. That was already hitting quite hard, actually, depending on how you build for it. This effect now instantly restores 65 Magicka to its activator. That is broken as fuck. For those that don't already know, Overcharge comes from magic damage. Magic damage, status effects does a small amount of direct damage to start with, but you can boost it. And it gives you minor magic steal. Mark, thank you for the sub. Much appreciated. You're a legend. So if you're a Templar and you've got really high status chance, for example, and you spam jab, 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 you can go status, 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 and you hit, and constantly reapply minor magic steal and get magic back. Now, obviously, the faster rate of fire that you end up applying it, the more magic you get back. You can basically have infinite fucking sustainability if you could guarantee it. Like, faster hits, more procs, more magic back. That's quite nuts. Poison. Reduce the damage of the status effect by 30% per tick. It's quite harsh. Reduce the duration to 4 seconds from 6. Now it's lining up with burning, fair enough. The damage is now considered execute damage, and it deals up to 100% bonus damage to targets under 100% health. As such, the damage now updates dynamically per tick. That is a bit bonkers, actually. I mean, you've reduced the damage by 30% per tick, but you've also taken off 33% of the duration. So, I mean, that's not going to be too bad. This here, though, it'd be interesting to see how much that actually ramps up to, especially with focused efforts. I know I'm talking about Infinite Archive, but I'm living in there, so I don't care. So what I'm hearing is I need to finish my lazy bones. Okay, now I need to do this focus on. Yeah, you do. Bear in mind, by the way, this could change at any point in time. Any of this is subject to change. It's during the testing cycle that we get to fuck around with this. You get to give feedback. If they like it, great. If they don't, also great. It's just one of those processes we have to go through. We're just privileged enough to take part in it. Sundered. Increase the damage of the status effect by 106%. Honestly, that was a bit low anyway. This effect now also grants... Are you fucking high? Now also grants that. Sundered still applies breach, right? I'll read that in a minute. This effect now also grants you 100 weapon and spell damage for 4 seconds. So you just get 100 weapon and spell damage for using physical damage and applying a status effect. That's actually fucking mad. But that's the thing. Does it still apply breach? Rich isn't going to tell me. Major and minor debuffs. Okay, I'm going to read that in a minute because there's extra stuff for it. Right. For too long, have status effects of burning and poison, hemorrhage, reign supreme over direct damage cousins it in efforts to both align the power of status effects and improve the flavor of each item that it provides. We've done a large pass on their values and functionality in the hopes that the system becomes more impactful for builds that use damage types outside of flame, poison, or bleed. Because, I mean, they hit fucking hard. Over time, status effects now have minor differences that give each of them a purpose and edge. Flame damage is a staple standard that offers consistent damage. Poison shines in execute phases, while bleeds shine in constantly applied and maintained. Direct damage status effects now deal much more damage than before. Granted, they will still deal less damage overall per application, as they offer other effects as well. So more utility, slightly less damage. To make up for their lack of total damage, we're also adding more utility. I just said that. Just copying me. To these effects to help facilitate each damage type focuses on. We've opted to not enhance Chill's additional effects, as it already has a unique functionality for those frosty ones out there. They do. It has brittle. Yes, Sunder gives Rise and Breach. No, I know Sunder gives minor breach. I'm asking if it still does. I was asking Rich because he makes the game. I know what the status effects do. I teach it. Not only can you subscribe. See, I'm talking to EK at the moment, and the bot goes, "Hey, you can subscribe." He's already subscribing. Leave him alone. Sorry, Ek. Buffs and debuffs. Major and minor vitality updated. These buffs to increase healing received and damage shield strength by 6 to 12%, rather than increase in healing up to 16%. So healing received has been slightly reduced, well, by 4% overall once you cap it out. But damage shields have now been boosted. That, by default, just made Keeper, Almost Immortal Warrior, Lazy Tank, Bobby, and all the other ones have stronger damage shields. Because they have minor vitality and major vitality pretty much all the time. So that's fucking crazy. We're opening vitality to influence damage shield effectiveness in the hope to differentiate the buff types more from mending, as well as making shields less binary in their performance. As such, we've slightly lowered the potential of the buff to make up for the fact that you can double up in many cases. So the point of that is they've brought the healing down ever so slightly from that particular bonus, because if you're applying damage shields at the same time, you'd end up double dipping. While they're allowing you to do that, they're not allowing you to make it too OP. It technically would be stronger than it was before, though, because if you're stacking a 12% increase on a damage shield and only 4% drop on a heal, it's going to take longer to get through the shield before they need the fucking heal in the first place. So that's a buff overall, but I can see why they dropped this a little bit. They might need to drop it a bit more. Don't say that, Xynode. They might. Depends on how you build. They find out that a damage shield and a heal combined is copy and pasted across the board for all bloody classes because it's just too powerful. They might have to alter it. Good start, though. Major and minor defile updated these debuffs to decrease healing received and damage shield strength. So that is affecting shield stackers and heals combined. PvP players are going to fucking love that if they're not a shield stack and Sork bastard. This is going to hurt Ice Cage healers in VSS. Not necessarily. It depends on how they already build. That particular phase is not that hard to heal through if you've got burst heals. It's just that people don't alter their stats in favor of their heals enough. So that's why they struggle. Or because they don't preempt their hots where the person's going to run, and they start healing after they're already taken over their damage, where they could be countering it in the first place. So if you've got an ice tomb over there, and you know it's there, and your mate is running to it, if you put your hots down now, they're going to start healing by the time they get into it. If you wait for them to land in it, and then start dropping hots, they've already had several seconds of get fucked. So it's timing for the healer and how they build. Thanks for streaming during this stressful times, Gotta go. Catch you later. You are most welcome, Keston. Thank you for watching. Where the fuck have I gone?
I love weddings. Drinks all
Similar to
around.
Vitality, we're adjusting this debuff to ensure that this negative version of the buffs that damage shields are getting. Additionally, we're removing the health recovery penalty from debuffs, as Battle Spirit already applies a hefty reduction to the stat. We're cautiously bringing the values of Defile down to match Vitality, since the effect will be more generally useful, but we'll keep an eye on how this interacts as a whole within Battle Spirit. So this, again, is a PvP thing. That's going to make quite a bit of difference for people that stack multiple shields and have really high healing. The health recovery builds now can somewhat benefit, because instead of being completely fucking nuked by both Battle Spirit and a debuff, only one of them affects them. But again, any of this could change at any time, especially major adjustments like that. Herald of the Tome, Fate Carver, reduce the... I'm just going to say it, right? There is someone on the internet right now that when the Arcanist first came out went, they're going to nerf it, and they didn't. Then something else didn't change. They're going to nerf it. No, it didn't. A week later, nerf it. No. Months. No. Nearly 6 months. No. And then we get this alteration because everything else is being adjusted. You go, see, I told you. I was right. Yes, you get a cookie, dickhead. Anyway, let's read it. This ability done by 7% per tick. So reduce the damage done by this ability and its morphs by 7% per tick. Wait. Remember, we've just had status effects boosted to fuck. This does magic damage. Overcharge now does 106% more, and you get resources back. Think about it. Pragmatic Fate Carver. Reduce the potency of the damage shield it offers by 16%. But remember, if you've got minor vitality or major vitality, that now boosts again. So you can stack it with another buff. They're trying to make you influence your build by adding things from your group. So it's reduced on purpose at a base, but you can still push it. Fixed an issue where the damage shield did not have a max health limit like other shields. The shield is now limited to 50% of your max health, which is still pretty high on some of the builds on the channel. Show. Now that the Arcanist has been out for over half a year, we're utilizing a lot of the data we're seeing and making cautious adjustments to the class. Our goals here are to slightly peel back on the ease of damage production the class has, in the hopes to incentivize slightly more complex rotations to regain the damage, while simultaneously cleaning up some of the morph power disparity and oversight of Pragmatic being a little too defensively overpowered, or powerful even. Read overpowered wrong, I made that up. And not following typical damage shield behaviors. So the damage shield is going to be slightly reduced, but you can still stack it with major vitality and minor vitality. And the overall damage is being slightly reduced, but bear in mind, your status effects do make a fucking huge difference now, so that could end up about here. This isn't a large reduction. It's like 1k a second off the tooltip measure over 4 seconds anyway. It's not a lot. Depends on your build, because that could fluctuate. It could be 5 damage or it could be 5k. It's not going to be 5k. But it's not a huge amount overall. It's still going to hit like fuck. It's still going to be very easy to use. And again, they're trying to make you kind of comprise your groups of certain buffs and bonuses to allow you to gain back what you would have potentially lost. Especially when it comes to damage shields and shit like that. Because the damage shield wasn't part of minor vitality before, or major vitality. And now if it's present, you're going to have a stronger shield. So lots of things are being tipped one way or the other, but by a small amount. Psychic Legion. Reduce the passive increase to applying status effects by 55% down from 75. 55% is still a fucking huge amount. Imagine you have a 1% bonus. Now it's 1.7 or 1.5. There's not much in that. It's only when you get to the higher end that it's going to make a difference. And if you're on the higher end of the chances, you've already got enough anyway. Some things apply higher than others. So direct damage or not direct damage. Glyphs have a 20% increase to apply. If you double it, obviously 100% increase on top of it, that would be 40%. This is almost there. Now it's slightly down a bit. But again, once you're stacking stuff like that, you can aggressively boost that with traits and bonuses and even champion points. So this is a small amount. That's not a massive difference. To make up for the status effect buffs in this update. Yeah, we're going to be hitting much harder with it anyway. Imperfect Ring. Increase the radius of the ability and the fulminating ring morph to 6 meters up from 5. Good, because that was a funky one. Most area of effect is 6, 8, 10, and 12. That was a weird one. To better match a visual effect, Rune Break synergy from all versions of this ability now also have 6 meters up from 5. Rune Displacement, increase the radius of this morph up to 10 meters, up from 8, to better match its visual effects. Curative Rune Forms, Apocrypha Gate. Do you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with this one. I don't fucking use it. It was fun to play with, to start with, but I don't fucking use it. Passion Between Worlds, fix an issue where this morph synergy could be activated in some situations, should not have. Obviously, people are going to be teleporting up and down places they shouldn't get to. Arcanist Domain, Zen's Empowering Disc Morph. Healy Frisbees. It's not. Fixed an issue where the buffs granted by this ability would be removed from allies if the caster of the ability died. So that's actually a fix, not a change as such. Because if you've got a duration buff on you and the caster's dead, you should still have the buff until it runs out. But it wasn't. It was losing it. Now that's fixed. So the gate has been fixed. The domain has been fixed. The imperfect ring has got more range. Status chance is down a little bit. And the damage shield and damage output of Fate Carver has been tweaked. Not by a huge amount though. 7% per tick is not drastic. Especially when it comes to the damage shield side of things. The damage shield would be in 16% less. When you can gain another 12% on top. You're not going to be the same as you were before. Depending on your health, obviously, because it scales off of that. But it is going to still be a substantial shield for an easy-to-use skill. Obviously, what they've seen is tanks with loads and loads and loads of health are getting a fucking stupidly scaled damage shield with a beam. So you can basically have the best of both worlds. Stupid health and stupid damage. Now they've kind of altered it. Right, kid, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Bear in mind, they haven't touched the execute, so that still hits like fuck. So, player testable, obviously, but that could have been far more drastic. We've had passes of combat in the past where they've hit jabs for like 33% or 66% or something stupid like that. 7%? What we fucking do? We'll see. Read that already. Dragon Knight. This is where they're going to kill my main character. Ardent Flame. Combustion. This passive now increases your damage done with burning and poison status effects by 20% and 40% up from 16 and 33. You just buffed my DK. Fuck your Arcanist. I'm joking. I love the Arcanist. The passive now grants 1000 magicka and stamina whenever you apply burning or poisoned rather than grant... Oh, shit. Vitality charge on shield means mended ward got a nice boost. It did, and stuff like that is what you're supposed to look at, like options. Where can you go now to plug what you're trying to cover? So they boosted the damage of status effects for burning and poison for the DK, and they now give you magicka and stamina regardless of which one of the two status effects you apply. That's kind of mad. So that means if you are, let's say for argument's sake, you are using the whip, which can use both resources at once. Anytime you apply either status effect, you get back resources for both at the same time, which can help fuel the whip. This passive has been reinforcing some restrictive morph engagement with the Dragon Knights who are trying to efficiently use its full power. Depending on the build type, you'd always need to find ways to find what damage type your build had less of through other morphs, enchantments, or item sets to ensure both parts of the passive proc reliably. The passive should now be much simpler to understand and utilize and impose less restrictions while also being less demanding on server performance. So it doesn't have to calculate two things now. It just goes, both of those, do that. And again, trying to efficiently use it to its full power, you know they're hinting at the whip uses both resources. You have to try and balance both, and now it's not so hard. Again, encouragement to use status effects. Fiery Breath, Engulfing Flames, its morph. Flame damage taken debuff now scales with your highest defensive stats rather than any additional weapon or spell damage. Finally!
Winning. I love winnings. Drinks all
I'm a heretic and I always love that staff and its shield versions of it. Fair. Thank you for the follow. So, if you're unfamiliar with that particular skill, the highest weapon or spell damage is the contributor towards the Engulfing Flames strength. You can get it up to 6% increase to all flame damage done to targets affected by it. It's actually quite easy on a tank that is not built for damage to stack a lot of weapon and spell damage and still have loads of defensive capabilities and utilize that skill at its max potential just based on, again, improving one major stat, weapon or spell damage. Now it's based off your offensive stats. So if you want to capitalize on its maximum potential, you need high weapon or spell damage alongside high stamina or magicka. It's supposed to be utilized as a DPS skill mostly, but if you use it on any other setup, you are going to suffer as far as its potency is concerned, as intended. This will make maximum value harder to reach for non-damage dealers overall. I just said that, didn't I? Oh my god. Revicus Maximus. You, sir, are an absolute legend. Thank you very much indeed. Beer and Cake in the chat. 10 more gifted subs, people. We've got a dead Dragonborn, and Revicus Maximus is top of the leaderboard for gifted subs at a whopping 3,530. Fuck. Oh, dear. Hype Trainer Clock, unbothered with 36 months. Thank you very much indeed. Massively appreciated. Beer and Cake in the chat. If you received a gifted sub, by the way, people, refresh your stream. You don't have to watch adverts anymore. You've got emotes. Use them. Rev is top of the leaderboard. 3530 subs. You're fucking mad. Here, have a cookie. Sneaks in, sits in the back, listens to Xynode unravel and explain the patch notes in a way I can understand. Yeah, I keep explaining stuff and then the spoiler tells me what I've just said. I think Rich is copying me. I read that already. Well, remaining relatively unchanged for most damage-orientated builds. There you go. Hype Trainer Clock, people. Go nuts. Earth and Heart. Molten Weapons. Fix an issue where this ability in its most visual effect could appear to engulf your companions. Thank you. Miri is on fire right now. I have seen this because I've been using her in the Infinite Archive. Entire bodies is sweltering magma. They look like they've got magma shell on them 100% of the time. It's fucked up. Jimmy, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Dead Jester with a gifted sub. Now up to a whopping 10. Thank you so much indeed. Massively appreciate it. I need to check a thing real quick, by the way. Check the thing. No, read that one already. Right. Where the hell am I? Read that. No companions were hurt in the process. Brilliant. Gravelord, Blast Bones. Rich told me to wait for this one, so I have. We waited. That's what we were doing. We weren't reading the whole thing and getting to it. We were waiting. Rework this ability and its Stalk and Blast Bones morph. So, rename the ability to Sacrificial Bones. Ready? Don't shoot yourself yet. We're going to read it. This ability and Stalk and Blast Bones morph, which has also been renamed, now summon a skeleton that, after their formation delay, jump to their owner to infuse them with power for 10 seconds, increasing your damage done with Gravelord and damage over time effects by 15%. These abilities no longer require a target to activate, but instead require you to be in combat. So we know full well that people are going to activate this while hitting a duff target dummy, reset the dummies, and then fight the buffed one with the buff intact. But, naughty, it's supposed to be only one in combat. So in real locations where you fight real enemies, you have to wait till the fight starts. Stalk and Blast Bones. Rename this morph to Gravelord's Sacrifice. This morph extends the duration of the bonus for 20 seconds, increasing the damage done effect to 20% and allows your next corpse summoning ability to treat you as a corpse while the effect is active. That, stacked with the new set, is going to allow you to use 2 corpse abilities on yourself. One from this, and one if you use the tank skill on ability. Okay, so stupidly OP dots alongside the passive that you already have. Fuck me. So if you're a dot build and you don't want to spam skeletons all day long, use that once every 20 seconds. Once every 20. It's just a buff. Anyway, the other version, Blighted Blast Bones. This morph overall functionality remains the same to retain a way for the original play style of the skill to be kept. Reduces the base cost of the morph to 1836 down from 2295. Bear in mind, that can be halved. So it is easier for non-stamina focused builds to sustain. So if you're a magic build, you use a stamina skill, it's fine. You scale off your max stats anyway, but you just need to maintain that bar, your lower one, which is quite difficult if you're a mag build because you've got to dodge, break, block, all that kind of shit. This actually gets halved with your passive. I sense potential lazy bones changes. Do you? Did you think that all by yourself? Known issue, Sacrificial Blast Bones and the Gravelord's Sacrifice morph may still report their original name for combat log events and API. The damage increase to damage over time effects may not reflect tooltips, but should still apply to the actual damage. Okay, fair. Finally taking a stab at adjusting this ability to help necromancers who don't want to constantly manage a short duration ability, as it will put a significant demand on creating complex and dynamic rotations in real combat. So people that were really, really fucking struggling with light attack hit, blast bones, light attack hit, blast bones. That was fucking confusing for people. And it makes sense, especially when barely any skills grey out unless you get interrupted. So if you're one of those people that don't want to do that, have a buff for 20 seconds instead. And still hit like a fucking steam train on acid. The reworked version will allow you to use the ability itself more dynamically, where you can continue to frequently activate it to produce and gobble up corpses, or use it less frequently and simply enhance the rest of your toolkit. So you can focus on other elements of gameplay like spell slinging or tether interaction. That's the point. It applies to your tether, doesn't it? Because it's fucking damage over time. Your explodey one. In this pass, we're also trying to ensure that there's a way to continue playing the way many necromancers have become accustomed to. With high... Do you know what? I'm going to read the rest of it. With a high skill mastery and robust rotation, so we're making sure one of the morphs is left alone while making it slightly less cost heavy so it remains accessible for most build types. So magic, stamina, whatever you want to fucking do, even if you're a tank. Lazy Bones is designed to take advantage of blast bones, and the Infinite Archive version of it is also designed to take advantage of bleeds with the scythe. Now, the scythe itself, you can use the spammable heal because you have lots and lots of health. It scales off your max health, but it costs stamina. That particular build is a magical build, but I use stamina as a main resource because then you've got more things to take advantage of the bar with. You've got your dodge, your block, all that kind of stuff, because now your survival is covered because that bar is bigger. So you can heal, you can hit, you can bleed, you can dodge, you can block. All that kind of shit combined. The Blast Bones is one of the major fucking skills on that build that people forget to use. Now, if you cast it, but forget for 20 seconds, all of your bleeds just went up by 20%. So, swipe, 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 3 stacks of bleeds. Extra bonus damage because they've changed it. Focus efforts because that's fucking crazy. And then you use that instead of the actual Blast Bones. Everything's going to fucking evaporate. That's not a build update, by the way. They've not finished this yet. But, I mean, it's painfully obvious that that would be fucking mad. What the shit? Anyway, so excited, as you should be, Iffy. How you doing, Ryan? Welcome to the stream. Definitely on now increases the passive critical chance by 10% per ability slotted while meeting these conditions, up from 4.4 to 8. 10% increase is nice. I like round numbers, these 4s and 8s. Nah. But that one's been affected a few times. It was really, really high when it first came in. And they've just kind of been tweaking it bit by bit. But again, if you've got loads of poison damage going off, and that has execute power, low health targets take more damage. Low health targets get crit to fuck. Sure, why not? Good buddy about to run the kids to school. Run them to school so you can run back and watch the stream. Or run because it's raining, you don't want to get wet. If you're not following Iffy, by the way, follow him. He lives in Upside Down Land, so it's not really raining there. The water's falling up. We're going to get wet instead. Or is it we get wet and you catch it all? Does it rain here and then land on you? Because if so, England's broken because summer's outside at the minute. It pees on us. Okay, so tell Australia to fix it because it's landing here at the minute. And realistically, it should kind of go over us and land on you. It's peeing on us. Okay, perfect. You're running in the rain. Are you pissed that I figured that out? You're like, how the fuck did you know? Shock and Siphon. Fixed an issue where this ability and its morph's damage were not properly creating an area of effect around the corpse they were targeted on. I fucking love this because if you've got the new Necromancer set from the Infinite Archive, how do we get to get on peeing? Because Ryan's talking about pissing down in rain, but he didn't want to swear. The Necro set that allows you to turn yourself into a corpse. I've shown it in the Necromancer class guide. Put Necromancer in the chat. You can actually turn yourself into an area of effect damage over time. Bomb. It's fucking nuts. Live and Death. Reanimate. Animate Blast Bones morph. This morph now only spawns Blighted Blast Bones rather than spawning the version of the ability you've morphed, as there is a little benefit from having multiple skeletons activate from Sacrificial Bones or Gravelord's Sacrifice. It's interesting that they were that detailed in that, because most people would not know that your ultimate that resurrects people, that makes Blast Bones come out. Most people wouldn't know that it actually copies the morph you have. So they had to go into that to make sure that you didn't just get buffed 3 times for no reason. These are the little things that people forget. That shit happens. It's fucking crazy. Best part of the live stream today, Gina saying there was no giveaway because people were spamming Ophelia command, so Zai posted free statue. Oh, you saw that? Sean, you get away with not saying hi today. As if you saw that. How the fuck? The chat was going fucking mad. There's a couple that caught a few things I said today. Mish caught a couple as well. Eagle Eye, fucker. I like to think I'm already an AoE, but I mean, why not? Nightblade, Assassination, Deathstroke, Incapacitate and Strike. Increase the damage done of the enhanced version of his ultimate by 10% and extended the duration up to 12 seconds up from 8. The ultimate no longer grants Reeve for slotting. That... See, Reeve was introduced quite a long time ago, and strangely enough, the devs haven't extended on that. They haven't gone any further with it. And to be fair, I can't say this for all setups because there's billions of possibilities. There could be a way that some people really need it. I have never really seen that make a big impact. 12 seconds, though. That means you can have... Let's just say, for argument's sake, you got a 10-second rotation on both bar, between the 2 bars even, 2-bar build, which is pretty common. That is going to last the full duration of your whole rotation, if that's the way you're doing things. And within that time period, depending on how you apply it, depending on your Fighter's Guild passives, and depending on what else it is you're doing, plus your potion popping, you could have a very, very stupid uptime on that. Like, really stupid. Has there been any buffs to carpets? You were buffed, carpet. Do not worry. You can be dead for longer. It's true. Colorable builds are still valid for carpets. So funny, the stream team were quite spicy with their comments today. Mrs. Ninetails was saying Finn to show his internal screens. He was saying he thought Finn threw up. Pain thinking that the new dungeon was Fungal Grotto 3. Oh my god. Terrible. Yeah, the chat was nuts today, dude. It's funny. To help differentiate these morphs more, we are moving away from both of them, granting a passive and active effect, and instead splitting them up. Soul Harvest will now focus more on its passive effect of printing ultimate in high kill count situations, which is what Nightblade's for. They're there for killing stuff quickly, because they got really fucking sharp executes. While Incapacitate and Strike doubles down on save and up extra ultimate for devastating bonuses in the moment of its cast. You're still going to be able to overlap it, depending on the situation. If you've got the ulti fucking trial set plus Arcasis in your group, plus your popping potions, especially if you were using Infuse with a potion cooldown timer, you could still have a really high uptime on it that would even match the uptime of Soul Harvest. I know the damage types are different, but that's pretty fucking nuts. Also, when it comes to PvP though, people love Soul Harvest because you just kill to get loads of ulti. You might have to wait with that. You might have to wait. Like, hold on to it because you're going to do more damage with it, but you don't get loads back from kills, so... But then still you've got the bonuses if you're getting your Cyrodiil passives, so 20 per player. I think that's going to get revisited. I think they're going to look at that again. It's nuts. I like it. I like the damage increase. Like, have loads of damage or build ulti faster. That's a fair trade, but I think the duration's quite long. I think that might get down to 10. We'll see. It's 7 AM and I'm struggling hard not to scream with excitement for the patch. They're fucking good, actually. One question, do you think it's stuff be carried over to PvP? They are. It's all over the game. This isn't a PvE only scenario. This is for everything. See, it doesn't say only against players. Shadow, Veiled Strike, Concealed Weapon. Please do something with this. This... I sound already disappointed with it, don't I? It's a fun skill, but it's fucking awkward. This morph now deals 10% increased damage at all times, and deals an additional 10% damage for 15 seconds after leaving stealth or invisibility, rather than granting my Major Berserk. I'm going to say thank you to that one, because you've got your Major Berserk worth of damage on that skill only, and at the same time you've made it less complex. Surprise, I hit harder. Yay. Okay, I'm not stealthed. I hit harder anyway. Also, yay. This, hit this from this to get this, to get this, to hit this, to get that. People just couldn't fucking get it. Have I used it? Yes. Is it fun? Did it work? Yes. Is it very, very, very fucking situational and quite difficult to manage? Yeah, that's a big yes. That's actually quite good. Less complex is huge. Yeah, it's a huge win. It doesn't obviously boost the damage of all your damage like Berserk normally would, but bear in mind that allows for synergy in your group. It allows for different compositions. It allows for you to take a synergy, actually, the word used twice differently, except in the same sentence. It allows you to take it from someone else or from a set or whatever. That's not too bad. Also, you can see where really, really, really fucking skilled Nightblades could take advantage of that and just always hit fucking stupidly hard. Hot Sauce and Toxicity could be even more beautiful. Yeah, they are. This morph, minor expedition, and conditional requirement now persists through bar swap. Ooh, that's quite nice. Based on much of the feedback we've seen with this morph, many iterations, we're moving forward with a bonus that focuses on the ability itself to ensure it offers a stark and effective bonus rather than a complicated bonus that makes the ability feel like a management skill. Rich copying me again. He just uses less words. Or sometimes more bigger words, like management. Fucking awkward, I used. Cripple. Don't fuck this. Debilitate. This morph now increases the chance of applying an overcharge status effect to 15%. That was quite high in the first place. Rather than, it's guaranteed. Rather than guarantee it, it's an application tick. Sorry, start again. This morph now increases the chance of applying overcharge by 15% on the skill, rather than guaranteeing it. Now the overcharge does considerably more damage. Okay. So, you've increased the damage by 106%, but you've lessened the chance per tick of applying it by 85%. I can't really say anything, because damage over time has its own unique amount anyway. 15% on top of that is actually pretty good. If you had 180 or so, if you had maybe one weapon, which is what, 189? That's also quite high. Plus, you've got your champion points, which are quite high anyway with status effects. You can still push it right up. So it will still fire a lot. We'll have to test it. Screw it, kids can wake up. My Nightblade is back, baby. I can be my Sorc main again. And you can be your Sorc main. You could already be your Sorc main, Iffy. Don't listen to Facebook. Don't. When Facebook goes, can't use Sorcs anymore, that dude hates puppies. Hates puppies and eats babies. You could have used it anyway. But yes, they're changing stuff. It's mega. This one, that's definitely player testable. Because every single tick guaranteed down to 15% chance is a bit harsh. But then you have double the damage, so whatever, we'll see. I don't have Facebook for that reason. See, you already know. You've already been there. That one fucking canoe is sitting there with his muscles and his really awkward 1990s tribal tattoo and his staff saying, don't use Sorcs, they're shit, bro. That guy. Yeah, fuck him. Imagine that. Imagine him growing up calling people that like games nerds. And now, to get girls, he goes, check out my deeps. How the tables have fucking turned. Siphonous Strikes reworks this ability to, and its morphs even, to make it simpler to use while making their resource recovery more engaging. Here we go. When activated, the ability will instantly drain 4,000 health to restore 2,000 magicka and stamina. Ooh. I did not see that coming. When this ability is slotted on either bar, any damage you deal will heal you for 1250 health up to once every second. Legion Strikes. This morph now increases the passive healing done to 1800. Whenever the heal activates, reduce the cost of your next Legion Strikes cast by 10%, stacking up to 10 times. Holy fuck. So, the instant cast of it is quite painful. But if you constantly activate the heal from it, you can make it cost nothing. The cost reduction lasts until consumed, your character dies, or you rezone. So it stays with you. Wow. Did I miss the Dragon Knight changes? Are they good or bad? They're good. Higher status effect chances and, higher status effect damage, and you get both resources back for any status effect from poison or fire rather than one or the other. Out of combat. Well, no. I hope not. That's quite fucking strong. Maybe I can finally have enough stamina to play DPS. You should have enough stamina anyway. Heavy attack. They teach you in a tutorial. Siphoning attacks. This morph instead. So the other one. This morph now increases the resources restored to 2.6k instead of 2k magic and stamina at the same time. Whenever heal activates, it also restores 200 magicka and stamina. Holy fuck. So this one is your sustainability for your resources. This one is constant healing. And you can reapply it for fuck all as long as you maintain it. If you fire it early, obviously you're going to lose health. That's fucking nuts. No. Heavy attack. No. That's it. That's all I got with a full stop at the end. Heck, that was brilliant. Love that. Nightblade will be fun for lower skill. I'm so happy. Yeah, one is major resource return. The other one is healing. Yep, nope. Brilliant. Twitch stream a week ago, they said some big changes are coming to PvP as well. I know they don't. I know you don't really PvP. No, you don't. But do you PvP? What do you do? So you said it like it was a statement that was fact. It's not fact. You don't really PvP. I do. I just don't show it much on stream. However, so far, interesting stuff. New sets for rewards that are worthy. Plus, they've also stacked a few things in Cyrodiil. That being siege weapons and repair kits. So all the different repair kits that you had on your wheel, like click this, click this, click this. Oh shit, I'm at a door. I need the other one. No, the same one for all repair things. So that's going to be quite nice. But outside of that, they're still working on bits and pieces as we go. There's stuff in here. And we're getting a shiny feature at the end of the year for PvP that isn't Cyrodiil. So that will be interesting to see. But this is kind of balance in combat overall, including the PvP side of it. Short spoiler, since we have already been past this and we're not going to go too far backwards. Defile now actually affects damage shields, not just health, healing. Nightblade class has long been limited to its overall performance by how well the player can utilize light and heavy attacks between each ability, making it very difficult for players and build types. Basically, if you can't weave, you're going to be shit. In efforts to ease back some of its demand, we're moving forward with a rework to their primary sustain tool to be more usable by any build or player. Thank you very much for the raid. Rather than needing to constantly activate the ability to be eligible to heal when you properly weave. It now passively heals you anytime you deal damage, simply for having it slotted. Did you hear that? It now passively heals you anytime you deal damage, simply for having it slotted. The resource portion of the ability is now granted at the base level of the skill rather than morphs, and no longer grants exclusive resources, but comes at a risky cost of health. Which we hope the passive healing helps lessen the risk of engaging with. Additionally, the morphs now focus on the different aspects of skill, where Leech and Strikes focus on raw healing and reducing the risk of activation, while Siphoning Attacks doubles down on resource recovery by adding a passive recovery option that increases the rewards on its activation. That is fucking really good. Instead of this one heals and gives magic, this one heals and gives stamina, that's a heal, that's a resource gain, take your fucking pick. How cool is that? That's an easier life for so many fucking Nightblades, whether you are advanced or not. Holy ship. Yes, indeed. Sorcerer. Get ready for this. Get ready. Lazy Sorks, where are you? Wave in the chat. Easy Sorks, where are you? You've been here for 7 years. Don't let me down. Dark Magic. Encase. This ability and its morphs now apply major maim to enemies for 10 seconds, in addition to attempting to immobilize them for 4 seconds, rather than only immobilizing enemies and refunding magicka if it failed. You now have major maim on a class other than a Nightblade. That's pretty good. Reduce the base cost of 4.05 down to 4.3. Note the major maim does not require the target to be immobilized to apply. So much like the talents, that's fucking huge, by the way, before we go any further. That is mad. Massive damage, almost mitigation, because it reduces how much they can fucking hit by. So you get hit for less. Bobby just got buffed. By default, he just got buffed. Again, they could change. The Dragon Knight talents, people don't understand this. It's an immobilization skill. Yes. But the maim that comes with it, the minor maim, does apply to the target regardless of whether it can be immobilized or not. This one has major maim, and it can be applied whether it can be immobilized or not. Technically speaking, you've just made the Sork route, I don't want to say better, but it's true. You've made the Sork route better than the DK one. It's fine. DK's got passives to status effects. We're good. Right, let's go. Restrain Imprison. Rename this morph to Vibrant Shroud. This ability now heals allies in the area with the same healing potency as Blessing of Protection, rather than attempting to mobilize enemies. Ooh. Maim is huge. Yeah, it fucking is. This morph will continue to apply Major Maim to enemies in the area for 10 seconds and will also apply Minor Vitality to allies who were healed by the ability for 10 seconds. What the actual fuck? You've just added an area of effect heal, equivalent of that of Combat Prayer, that will give Minor Vitality to your friends and still Major Maim the area. Major Maim and heal. Bring the DK back. We want your talons again, please. We need you to immobilize these with Minor Maim because we've got Major on another skill now. Fucking hell. What is that? Mike, you know you're not high elf build. Enjoy. They have increased the cost. But, I mean, so fucking what? Mike's not high elf, just got buffed. You're not wrong. Equalizer Gaming, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Look at that. So, makes noises in Sork, right? Is Sork forever? Shattering Prison, the other morph. Rename this morph to Shattering Spines to avoid confusion with Rune Prison naming convention. This morph's damage now happens after its own distinct effect timer ends, not completes. So if you recast it, that ends. There's skills like that in the game already. Unstable Wall of Elements, when this effect ends. Or whatever. That basically means if it runs out, it's ended. If you reapply it, you made a new one, the last one ended. So if you reapply it, you can get the effect. Rather than when Immobilize ends. This will allow the damage to apply to targets that were immune to Immobilize effect and will also allow the ability to deal damage every time when cast. So if you apply it and pin someone and apply it and pin them again, but it can't pin them because they're on cooldown, you still do damage. So if you double tap it, aha! Excellent. Increase the damage done of this morph by 10% to make up for its delay. Brilliant. We've gone back and made Encase a vastly more usable tool with less restrictions of where it can be used, similar to Aspect of Terror's adjustments with previous updates. In addition to this, we've corrected many of the shortcomings of the morph by ensuring Shattering can be used more as a damage ability for area of effect situations while focusing on enabling more support behavior for sorcerers with new Vibrant Shroud rework. So, big heal and maim or pin and damage. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And again, that's a completely different flavor to what they're normally going to do with skills. Like, Blast Bones had another Blast Bones, just a different damage. Legion Strikes had Siphon Strikes, which was just different resource. Pinning stuff with one and then pinning and healing with the other for yourself or extra healing received. They were very, very, very similar. Now they're completely different. Heal or resources. Blast Bones or buff. Pin and damage or heal and debuff. It's fucking mad. We've actually got separate morphs that are equally as useful, depending on where you put them. Didn't you just raid already? Shout out in the chat, please. A double raid from the same person. Did you want people to definitely know who you are? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. How was yours? Conjured Ward. This ability on Hardened Ward morph will now... No. Oh, no. Right. If you're using the Lazy Sork or the Easy Sork, you already know how to heal. You keep up Crit Surge, and you put a damage shield. You just protect your health bar, and Crit Surge will bring your health bar up underneath it. No. This ability and Hardened Ward morph will now heal you for 15% of your maximum health or magicka, whichever is higher, if no pets were shielded. Oh my fucking god. Lazy Sork just got harder to kill. Unless you take a one-shot, you're a monster. Regenerative Ward. This morph now also heals you for 10% of your maximum health or magicka, regardless if a pet was affected by the shield or not. Oh, shit. So for not using a pet, you have bigger heals. You do know what that means, right? You see this? If you don't use Peanut, the Clan Fear on Bobby, you get a heal. So at the moment, you're torn between, do you keep Bound Aegis on for the block mitigation and the extra bonus stat, or do you have a damage shield based off of your max health? Now you can have Bound Aegis and the shield. I've been banging my head for 2 or 3 hours a day on the boss over 4 days. I watched your video and finished VMA last night. Awesome tips and love the Tony Robbins Esquire. Keep calm. Yes! Daxius, congratulations. Broken Bill got more broken. Maybe you're building towards how it's supposed to be. Ever thought about that? Anyway, let's continue. In the efforts to aid lone wolf sorcerers, we're adding a conditional bonus to this ability that makes up for the power loss it receives when you don't have pets with you. So they recognize you might want some more something. While also trying to make up for the loss of not running their primary burst heal, like Summoned Twilight. We're also improving regenerative wards bonuses in hopes to get more engagement by making a heal a guarantee, but with a reduction in healing so it doesn't overshadow Hardened Ward. So it's going to scale off your Magicka. Bobby is going to scale off your health. Easy Sork is going to scale off your Magicka. Well, Lazy Sork, technically. That's mad. I want to go scream at my husband, but he's at work in a meeting. Rip. You have to ring him up. Say, excuse me, boss. Can you get him on the phone, please? It's really important. Just squeal really loud. Poor Peanut's going to be stuck in a Tupperware box. Yes, he is. Let's see. Daedric Minefield. Rename this to Daedric Refuge. The mines, the ability places, are now wards that activate when you or an ally walk over them, granting them a damage shield for 6 seconds rather than activating to deal damage and immobilizing when the enemy walks over them. Allies cannot be affected by one of the wards more than once every 2 seconds. That's still nuts. It's like standing in Lunar Bastion. And it can stack to prevent situations of singular ally could take multiple shields immediately. So basically, you can take one, 2 seconds later stand another, 2 seconds later stand another, and so on and so forth. You can pop multiple shields on the same person. So if you use that on a tank, you drop your mines on the ground, step in one, step in another, step in another. You do a little tiny circular dance. Rich is like, fuck, why did we do that? Why did we fucking do that? Back to the fucking drawing board, throws the chalk across the fucking room. Shield uses the highest of your maximum magical or stamina is capped at 43% of your target's maximum health. That's insane. When is the patch going live? March. Fucking hell. There's too much epicness on one page. I need a drink. I didn't get a beer today. I normally do on the patch note reading. We're adjusting this morph to completely new, unique functionality to help sorcerers function more in support role and gain access to more non-pet related defensive tools. The cool thing is, right, you could be in a stack and burn with 3 of your mates, and you drop mines down, you got everybody standing in the mines now. Boom, damage shield. Here's my not immobilization skill anymore that maims the fuck out of the target, so your damage shield doesn't take hardly any damage at all, while healing you from underneath it. What the shit? We ain't good at the where's my whiskey? At 7 o'clock in the morning while taking the kids to school? Fair. We target this morph to rework as engagement between the original morph's heavily favored Daedric Tomb, and this morph naturally allows for higher target count where support abilities shine most in. Yeah, so one is completely different to the other. One still pops loads and loads of damage, the other one is protective. 2 completely different opposite sides of the coin. Fucking fantastic. Expert Summoner. This passive now increases your maximum health by 5 to 10% while you have a summoned pet of any kind, up from 4 to 8% when you have a Daedric summoning ability active. So that's where they get you. That's where they get you. Before, if you had Bound Aegis on your bar, you would get an 8% increase to health. You don't get that anymore. You have to have a pet. But wait, there's more. This one here, where's it gone? This now also heals you for 10% of your maximum health or magicka, regardless of if a pet was affected by the shield or not. So if you have one, I mean, it's still fine. So you can have a pet, have the health, and have a shield that heals you. See? You can still do that. So you can go backwards and use other morphs. We're doing the jigsaw puzzle thing here. Rich is telling me there's more stuff. The passive now also increases your maximum magicka and stamina by 5 to 10% while you do not have a pet. Oh my fuck! Bound Aegis gives you 8%. That now gives you 10% for not having a pet, so that's 18% overall. Happy fucking days. The damage shield, we're going backwards to the other one now. Gives you a heal based off of the highest of your max health or magicka. So now lower health, but massive fucking mag pool. More damage to all your skills because the stat contributing offensive resource is higher. I can't fucking handle this, dude. I'm going to give birth on stream. Is it Christmas today? No. Christmas is gone. And fuck it. Nearly Christmas. Maybe it is. We're splitting this passive out to be more adaptive in different types of builds where we see Sorcerer players engage much feedback over the years has noted that playing the class without pets can often feel very limiting and less powerful overall. So we're attempting to add small bonuses for those lone wolf sorcerers out there. Ha! Love it. That's a lot of magic. That's a lot. So much. I'm actually glad about that because I hate having a pet. Most people actually do. Lots of people like pets. Lots of people also fucking hate them. So you got the best of both worlds. If you like pets, great. You get some buffs and bonuses. If you don't, you still get buffs and bonuses. But your base stats are higher, so the other skills you're using will hit harder. That's nuts. Right, let's continue. Lightning Splash. Increase the radius and size of this ability and its morphs by an additional 2 meters as they were significantly smaller than other class-based area of effect damage over time abilities with no real power justification for doing so. That's quite nice because spears and even eruption and shit like that has a decent size, whereas this is quite shit. The damage is nice, but the space is crap. So, happy days. Winter's Embrace. Warden stuff here. Glacial Presence. Reduce the potency. Oh, this had to come. I said about this earlier. I fucking jinxed it. Reduce the potency of this passive by 50% is still fucking strong. As Chill Status effect receives a huge increase, overall this will result in a 6% damage increase between both of these changes. So you won't see a huge impact on the Warden, but other classes you obviously will. You will still get a benefit, but whatever. Bastards. Sleet Storm, Northern Storm. Increase the damage done by this morph by 50%. Before I read any further, at the moment, these two morphs are... Well, it makes sense to use the damage mitigation one, because there's not much in it. Anyway, increase the morph by 50%. Good. Activating the ultimate now grants 50 weapon and spell damage for 5 seconds each tick, up to a maximum of 9. 450 weapon and spell... Thanks for the maths lesson. Rather than increasing your weapon spell damage by 300 for 30 seconds. Note that the duration refreshes each stack like all stack-based effects do. So, for argument's sake, if it was 10 seconds and the last tick fires off, you technically get 15 seconds worth. That's a very large weapon and spell damage increase. And that is a really good damage increase for the actual skill. Because at the moment, unless you wanted the 300 weapon and spell damage, which you just use fucking Dawnbreaker, it made more sense to just use a defensive one because it was fuck all in it. That might encourage people to actually use it. It's a strong skill anyway, but the other one made more sense. We're shifting the focus on strength for the ultimate into something that feels more appropriate for the masters of over Bitter Cold, as its previous iteration was relatively passive and underwhelming. Agreed. Now the ultimate offers more impact in those moments of activation, with a power ramping effect to help add extra satisfaction and damage to your burst moments. That also encourages people to not necessarily use the Ice ultimate for the Destro staff on a Warden, because now you have a unique damage over time area of effect icy spell that actually does decent damage and you benefit from a buff at the same time. Before it was a Destro, which was damage, or always stick to permafrost. There's no news on Tempo. We are reading this in order. Patience, Iago. Polar Express buff. If you're using that skill, yes. It's actually pretty good. Although that's technically using the bear. You can change it if you want, though. Permafrost morph. Reduce the damage done by this morph by 32%. Obviously, that was common because they want to encourage you to use this for more damage. To make up for adjustments to chilled glacial presence. Overall, this will still result in an ever so slight less than 1% damage increase to this morph. Yeah, because that guarantees chilled. There's nothing temper. You didn't hear what I said, did you? The mods are not going to be patient with people that deliberately push boundaries. I'm reading in order. Let me keep up with it. Don't go ahead of me. Otherwise, there's no point me reading it. If people try to be clever by reading it outside the stream and then coming in and telling all the chat what's going on, you're basically stage hijacking. Relax. So I can have my white bet. What, Pauline? Inner Fire. Guild stuff. Reduce the cost of the ability and the inner rage morph to 1.620, down from 2.7k. Good, because that as a range taunt is quite nice, obviously, but the fucking cost, if you're pushed into one resource or another, can get quite expensive. Where the fuck did I get to? Hi, Zion Ninjas. Mind Distortion, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Photo Express already read. Right, Riansu, how you doing? I did see you there. I saw you there earlier. Let's see. Reduced damage of this ability in Inner Rage morph by 10% and adjusted their damage type to flame damage rather than magic damage. Okay, so that can now have a damage status effect to it. I mean, the other one does damage anyway, but it's more magic still. And it's called Fire, so why not? Fix an issue where activating these abilities would not cause you to face your target, which also fix an issue where these abilities could frequently cancel light attack inputs. So a fix. The radiate synergy from these abilities now granted, guaranteed, granted, I can't read, rather than having 50% chance. Good, because that's fucking, there's no point. I mean, if you want a synergy, take a synergy. I don't understand the point in having it fluctuating. To apply, the synergy no longer has a minimum range of 12 meters to activate. So you can activate it full stop at any time. Brilliant. So before, only ranged people or people outside that range could take advantage of it. Now it's constant. Let's clean up. James Bond. You're the Dragonborn, dude. Thank you for the sub. I gotta press the button now. Ready?
Fight.
Oh shit, press it wrong. Have some of that. You know the rules, people to fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take their place of stream. I have to kill you instead. Mr. Third on the leaderboard for gifted subs is currently the Dragonborn. Get him dead. Inner Beast. Increase the damage of this morph by 80%, making it equal to other ranged spammable attacks. Ooh. That was different. This morph now applies minor vulnerability and minor maim to the target, rather than a unique damage taken from the caster's debuff. The fuck? Natty, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Let me read that again. No, that actually hits quite hard, and that's it. Debuff and hits hard. Okay, fair. In a rage, this morph now allows up to 3 allies to activate the radiate synergy rather than causing it to be guaranteed, since it now is always guaranteed. So much like the Arcanist Icy skill, or Ice synergy, where you can use it 3 times instead of just 1. We're cleaning up this ability in this morph to better fit their roles and usability by removing some of the older gameplay behaviors and random chances. While not opposed to random chance, we believe that the role that focuses on bringing stability should offer benefits that are in to that nature. Okay. In addition to this, we're cleaning up some of the behaviors we've seen with Inner Beast, where sometimes damage dealers were taking the morph to increase overall DPS and causing some conflict in group content with actual tanks. Inner Beast is intended for tanks that don't want to sacrifice too much damage, so they can play more like a bruiser, so we're shifting the damage bonus to the ability itself. This will allow those builds to treat this as their spammable and their taunt, rather than creating a weird situation where their ability can also be used to buff overall damage. Yeah, because the previous version of it had an overall increase to all of your damage. A minimal one, but just, it was like, hey, this buffs your whole build. Did you bring enough to make that relevant? Now it just gives you a hard hit. Item sets. Fixed an issue where many sets that created area of effect did not obey line of sight. This follows Azure Blight, Deadland Assassin, Defending Warrior, Destructive Mage, Explosive Rebuke, Groftar, Ice Furnace, Masterlock, Phoenix, Unfathomable Darkness, Venomous Smite, and Vicious Death. So, yes, some of those could go bang through walls. No, they can't. Oh dear. Charged. This had to come, didn't it? Reduce the trait's increase of applying status effects to 235, down from 365. So with all the status increases to damage and all the rest of it, they've had to nuke the chance on that trait, although it's still fucking high, just down, to make up for a large increase in performance in most status effects. Correct. Xynode temporary is perfect. No updates change at all. It's great to be excited about it, but you have to stop going ahead of me. I know we're past that now, but we've been told twice already. Now you can be excited about it, yes. But see, I told you is not how we do this. Relax, it's fine. But yeah, templates didn't really need to be changed because there's fuck all that needs to be changed with them. What is the problem with them? They had that last time. Jesus Beam got altered, didn't it? Let's see. Sting and Slashes. This set's damage bonus now scales off of 20.925% of the higher of your weapon or spell damage rather than offering a flat bonus based on the item level up to 1635. This will result in a damage loss for most builds that are currently engaging with this set. That's the Masters one, by the way. We're adjusting this set to no longer grant a flat damage increase for anyone using it to one that is meant to shine for damage-orientated builds. This should significantly lower the pressure and kill potential the set is enabling for the tankier builds in PvP, while retaining its potency for those that focus on damage over survivability. So the higher your offensive stats, the more damage it will do, instead of being a flat bonus throughout. Pretty good. The reason for that is obviously, with it having a flat bonus, you didn't have to scale it. You didn't have to build for stats. You just could apply it and it nukes people. Now you actually have to scale your stats for it. Passing out looking interesting. Keep it up, going and eating popcorn. Yes! I'm pressing the button. What's your opinion on the Blast Bones rework? I am still reading. We're going from the top of the page, down the page. Already been past that stuff. I'll kind of summarize it at the end. Soul Cleaver fixed an issue where this set did not update the tooltip cost of Soul Shred or its morphs while they were slotted. Good, because that confuses people. Craft the set's His Spark fixed an issue where this set's effects could persist while not properly meeting its condition requirement in some cases. Morkolden, that's the Wizzy sword thing, fixed an issue where the summoned sword from this set could appear to surf on top of another summoned sword directly underneath it. The invisible being carrying this weapon will now only show one shiny gold sword. So you didn't get 2 procs. Told you so. Yeah, indeed. Dungeons and Arenas. Essence Thief. We were talking about that earlier. Fixed an issue where multiple users of this set could sometimes remove each other's sigils. Grizzly Gourmet fixed an issue where multiple users of this set could sometimes consume each other's sweet rolls without gaining an effect. See, they've affected 2 minigame sets while they've given us a new minigame set. So they must have found that bug with the monster set while they were making it. Runecarver's Blaze fixed an issue where this set's damage had a lower chance to apply status effect rather than intended. Because, yes, damage types apply status effects. I know the rules are procs don't proc procs, but that's for sets. Like, one proc from a set won't fire the effect of another set. They still do fire their respective status effect. So if you have a fire damage proc, it can fire the status from it. And the chance of it was lower than intended. So they boosted it. So Hot Sauce is happy. Tormentor. This set will now only taunt the first enemy hit by the ability that activates the set, rather than taunting any and all enemies hit by the ability. Due to this change, the set can now trigger off of blinks, such as Streak. This set now also heals for 45% of all damage done from the ability that activates it. Oh, shit! We'll read. This set has flown under the radar, allowing an area of effect application of taunt for quite some time. But, like all things in life, you fucking sarcastic bastards, it must come to an end. They played a fucking tiny violin while doing this and laughed their asses off. Fuck Lazy Tank's dead? No, I'll still do something with it, don't worry. While this is a very old functionality of the set, area of effect damaging movement abilities were spread few and far between during its introduction to the game, so its AoE taunt capabilities weren't effectively unnoticed. Over time, however, we've added significantly more of these ability types, and this item set has enabled behavior that goes against one of our core philosophies of tanking, where taunting should be an individual action meant for one specific target in the moment of activation. I'm not going to get mad yet. To prevent a complete loss to this set, It now works with blinks, so streak, and we've added a new healing functionality to help ensure chain activating these abilities still provides something fun and impactful. So now it will only apply to single target taunts, but at the same time, it will heal. Not going to get mad yet, indeed. Let me just read this. Only taunts the first enemy hit. So the target will be taunted. So if you chain something, you will heal for 45% of the damage done by the ability. If you do use a charge from the temple like we do on the lazy tank, the activation of the attack does damage overall in area of effect. So the heal will be that big. Technically speaking, you can still charge taunt. It's just when you're there, you need to stab stuff. So if we were to apply this effectively on the lazy tank now, you would still get the pull from the other set. You would still do the damage. You would still hit all the targets. You would still do area of effect interrupt. But jumping in would now apply minor protection, major protection, a 45% increased heal based on the damage that you do, the resistance bonus, and the taunt on single target. So you will jump in, you'll be protected, you'll get a big heal, you'll taunt the initial target. The pull kind of holds them anyway, so you can just stab them all. Based on the way the build is made, time stop, then jump, they're all going to be stuck anyway. The only thing really that you're going to have to manage is you're going to have to make sure that you manually taunt stuff. So your resources are going to suffer. If they die, you get repentance anyway. So this does actually make you a fuck ton tankier. You're still agile as shit, but yes, the AoE side of it for the taunts is dead. We'll see. It still makes it quite effective and actually buffs you as far as your survival is concerned, because if you're in trouble and you charge at a target, usually you're dead because you had low health. Now you just go bang, big heal. That might be broken. I don't want my feelings get yanked from one spectrum to the other. We'll see. Unleash Terror. Reduce the damage of this set to 7% by 7% to make up for the buffs of hemorrhaging status effects, obviously. This is now a 2% damage increase of the set. Why tiny violin emote? That is sad for the area of effect taunt, but the rest of the build, or the rest of the play style, does actually still benefit from it. And let's face it, Streak being a taunt is actually quite nuts. So Sorks are going to like that. Imagine jumping through an enemy and just having a default taunt. Bear in mind also there's no cooldown on that. So you can just jump, heal, taunt. Obviously it's going to cost you more if you use it rapidly, but yeah. Had to go eventually. Not completely happy about it, but not completely against it either, because that part of it there adds a bit of spice to it. So we'll see. Zero Dead, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Did you hear Lazy Tank is dead? It's not. I'll still figure it out. Don't worry. Salvation. Fix an issue where this set could fail to grant you its weapon and spell damage. Fair enough. Fixed. Sorcerer. This set's perfected version now grants 129 spell and weapon damage rather than max magicka. So now it offers all weapon and spell damage. That actually makes sense. Do you know why? And this is overlooked. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Oh my god, it's Witch something or other. Someone's going to tell me in the chat. I know the set because I fucking use it. There's a set that offers weapon and spell damage based on whether the target has poison on them or not. Every single stack of weapon and spell damage, and the Witch Knight, that's the one, and the 5th piece bonus, if the target has poison on it, actually overperforms versus Sorcerer. You actually have more weapon and spell damage with that set than you do Sorcerer, and it's instant. You don't have to rack it up. So this here, this slight alteration, will actually push that over, so it has equal to, if not more, weapon and spell damage, but minor Slayer as well. So previously, that trumped that. Now the trial set is slightly stronger and or equal to. Or just play almost Immortal Warrior. We'll see. New name incoming for the not so lazy tank. No, it'll still be lazy as fuck. You can just jump in and heal. When can you use a charge ability and heal at the same time usually? Normally, if you charge at an enemy, you're dead on the way in. Fix an issue where several companion responses could be heard by players who were not yourself. And fix an issue where companions would not attack if they enter combat while in the outfit station. Quests. I'm not going to go over quests because that's very, very niche. And that might affect one person or a million. So that's hard to gauge. Will the stream be available for viewing later on? Yes, it will be. Relaxed tank. Yeah, not so lazy. Feet up on the side tank. After the stream is finished, there'll be a VOD on YouTube and Twitch. The unusual metal that provides the lead for the ironclad Sarkos Shroud no longer glimmers, and you'll already be uncovered by antiquity. Okay, that's antiquity stuff. NPC stuff again, very niche. Not to say that's not a good thing, it is, but we're going for the overall stuff here. Sunspire, Yodokrin, Wing Thrash will no longer knock players back if they die to the ability. Your character can now be more reliably resurrected after dying to Wing Thrash, and Flame Atronachs will no longer cast Flare before they can be triggered. So they fixed any issues that were having side effects in there. So Mike, if you're going back in there for hard mode, stuff is fixed. Antiquities, some Blackwood Sword Tapestry fragments for the Antiquity Blackwood Tapestries have been placed better on the terrain. So that's housing stuff. More quests, Tales of Tribute stuff as well. Expert Tribute NPCs now have all upgraded cards for Himeris Mora. Fix an issue where you could challenge NPC or higher rank during your Tribute Daily Quest. Proficient Tribute NPCs now all have upgraded Almalexia decks as well as the base Himeris Mora deck. Moongrave. Shield no longer explodes once Drozo Kakakar is dead. Okay, so the shield that is on him that goes round and round and round and goes bang, that won't kill you after the boss is dead. He's the one I killed on Almost Immortal Warrior. This one is used to lazy. Now it is still lazy, but must pay just a little bit more attention to his moments. True. So we'll go over that again in a minute once we've read through all this stuff. I know people are going to worry about it, and they can. That's fine. Or you can just have 2 months or a month worth of lazy tank as it is. Enjoy the shit out of it until they change it. Then look forward to a video where I'll explain more.
I love weddings.
Fix an issue where leaving a battleground early could lead to incorrect information. Thank you for the follow. Being displayed by other members of the group. Emperorship bonuses will now be calculated correctly based on native keep ownership. Animations fixed. Crown store stuff fixed. Dungeons. Blessed Crucible. Front gate will now reliably open regardless if the quest is accepted or not. Of when the quest is accepted even. Infinite Archive. Thoat now gains 10% more XP. Now grants 10% more XP when slain by duo players. Ooh. I'm probably going to be streaming an in-depth video detailing this timeline of this prediction. Probably. You can no longer buy too much of an item fragment. Good, because I've got loads of extra ones that I can't fucking use. Delete them. 2 subs at once? Yes. Thank you very much indeed. Massively appreciated. Bit and Cake in the chat. Both of you. Thank you very much indeed. Prime subs. Let's go. You have the Ninja Cake emotes. Use and abuse them as you see fit. Refresh your stream. You don't have to watch adverts. Threads will no longer be removed erroneously if monsters evade while you are still engaged with them. So the I've lost a life for no reason bullshit. Stages. Knocking enemies from stages within Infinite Archive will no longer result in stalled progress or thread loss. Because yes, they get knocked off the side and you have to fucking reset or whatever. Portals to the Unknown. The pursuit passive in the werewolf skill line now correctly reapplies after your character returns from transformations. I can't honestly say I've been using a werewolf in there, apart from Juffy, but that's not the one they're talking about. Versus and Visions. Guardian of Pestilence no longer reduces damage to itself the same way as other players' pets, ensuring its special ability can be used more often. So that was buffed in, like, not intentionally. So it wouldn't die as it should, so you couldn't stand on it and use the buff. Fire Orb can no longer be removed by enemies. Thank fuck for that. Thank you. Fire Orb is a buff that hovers in the air and you pick up a synergy, you have a beam attached to it and you do loads of damage. The enemies could target it and kill it really fast. Now you can't. Lady Thorn no longer has a chance to remain untargetable after using her scatter ability. There are a couple of other issues in there that have not been addressed, but maybe they didn't have time. Witches Festival, that's on there. Zeal of Zenithar as well. Little fixes and pieces there. You can test out the new prologue as well. Prologue. Yes, actually, that was the right word. Not going to go over that. Housing stuff, I'm not going to go over too much because it's fucking loads of it. And a lot of it is corrections for things that we have. There's also a lot of extra stuff that we don't have, which is coming with this. Miscellaneous as well. Fixed a rare issue where the client could be out of sync with the server. Rare crashes fixed. Issues where dungeon finder queue durations would vary based on the role of the group leader. More floating books, cats, people, monsters, trees, etc. We're going to scroll through this quite quick, actually, because the rest of it is misc. Happy that it's... Ah, wait a minute. Reorder the group finder playstyle drop-down menu for the gamepad UI to match keyboard UI. Added time to guild history tooltips. Fixed an issue where the ready check iconography on the large group frames weren't properly aligned. I was hoping for some guild finder stuff, but it's not. Added 2 new playstyles as options for the group finder. Roleplay and story. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. Fixed an issue where the group finder, where required champion points on a listen wouldn't save. Guild functionality. Guild history events that are participated in will now be visible regardless of permissions. This will allow you to keep track of something like your own past gold deposits in the guild bank, even without the permission to see other transactions. So you can see what you've done. Fixed an issue where guild messages of the day or descriptions could appear truncated if there was any censoring or censored text in it. Made further optimizations to guild history, resulting in shifting of some events with the new and different categories. So still nothing to do with guild finder. We think about Warden changes. I'm getting through this first, then I'm going to go over all that stuff. Bear in mind, people, I read this live from start to finish. I don't want to go backwards and forwards too much. We have to go to the bottom first. Luckily for you, we just have all the way at the bottom. So quick summary. Sets are kind of cool. Status effects, I think a couple of them are going to be adjusted, but we'll have to see. Stuff has to be tested. Nightblade, fucking awesome changes, but I do think that the timer for incapacitating strike is probably going to end up about 10 seconds rather than 12, because I think it's a little bit overpowered duration-wise, and you're probably going to end up overlapping it indefinitely, depending on how you build. I know you can always do that with Soul Harvest anyway, but that doesn't have the 10% increase to damage, so... Tricky one there. We'll have to see. Necromancer stuff, actually really, really positive. The Blast Bones is still there, which is great for people that like it, but having a buff to your damage over time is going to affect lots of different builds, especially ones that struggle casting skeletons. Now you just have to keep up a 20-second duration. Not too difficult. Nightblade changes again to Legion Strikes and to the surprise attack. I can't remember what the fuck it was called. The other one. The magical costume one. My brain has stopped. That one has been altered for the better. So, less complicated, more reward, easier to use. I say more reward for the skill, not overall. You actually get less overall because you did have Berserk. But now you can stack the two. You can have the increased attack from it. So the extra damage from the one skill, but then you can take Berserk on top of it. So, that's good. The Warden stuff, actually really, really positive as far as the ultimate is concerned. About time they fucking changed that, because it's been shit for a long time. There's been no need to use Northern Storm over Permafrost, because if you wanted the extra 300 weapon and spell damage, you just use a fucking Dawnbreaker, because it's quicker to fire and cheaper, and you get another benefit from it. The only benefit you'd really get from the Northern Storm on your bar would be the resistance bonus and the passes from Winter's Embrace. So changing that offers some incentive to kind of use that skill. The status bonuses that have been changed for it still make it so it's harder hitting for you as a Warden, but obviously they had to reduce it based on the increased 106% to the chilled status. Excuse me. The DK changes are fucking insane. Double resource back, as in magic and stamina at the same time, for applying either poison or fire is a no-brainer for the whip. Easier to manage your builds now. You don't have to build for both if you don't want to. You just build for one or the other and you benefit regardless. Arcanist, yeah, whatever, 12, is a necessary adjustment based on some of the things that they've added, especially when it comes to minor and major vitality, because you can still make a really substantial shield, and the damage drop is minimal. It's a small amount, and it had to be altered because it's too fucking easy to apply loads and loads of damage. You can still do it. You'll still do loads and loads of damage. It's just a little bit less. And again, they're encouraging more complex builds for those that want more damage, rather than making it way too fucking easy for everybody. Heard they were going to nerf Sorks and Tales of Tribute. No. They're going to give you a special card, DJ. The Sorcerer stuff, fucking madness. Really, really good for people that do use pets, and really, really good for those that don't. And solid for people that want to be Sorcerer healers and protectors. Increased bonuses to the major maim as well is fucking broken. Absolutely nuts. When the pet's cheating at cards, they were, so they kicked them all out. They really need to stop buffing Nightblade Burst and buff overall damage and things like Swallow Soul. They have. There's a set for it. But what they've done is they've maintained the functionality of the resource management, if you like, of one of the skills, but they've made it so that it shifts one of two ways. One is resource management, the other one's heal, and it's a lot easier to apply. The surprise attack morph, the other one, oh, my brain has stopped. What the fuck is it called? I know it. I can't think. The pets were counted as cards. They were. I'm going to go down to Nightblade to find it now, just because my brain is kicking my ass. It's been a long fucking day. Buffs, debuffs, Arcanist, Dragon Knight, Nightblade. Where the fuck have you gone? Someone's going to post it, but I'm going to see it anyway. Veiled Strike, that's what I'm talking about. That one, boosting that on its own gives more incentive to use it outside of very niche situations where you were trying to trigger loads of things at once. You missed temper change. No, because there aren't any. The Necromancer already went over. Nightblade had gone over. Sorcerer is fucking nuts. Sorcerer is really fucking nuts. It causes a crit surge you don't need to activate. Pretty much, but you've got to consider that you're going to lose lots of health if you first turn it on. But it's mad. It'll make things much, much easier for Nightblades. Because they are, if you want to make the most out of them, like, they are quite fast-paced. They are quite tricky for people if they can't weave very well. And they've kind of touched on that to make things a bit easier. You can still benefit from being very, very skilled, but if you're not too skilled, you can still have quite a lot of fun with it without being too punished. There's quite a lot in there. Quite a lot. Some of the sets are a bit nuts. The PvP stuff, the stacking siege equipment and stacking repair kits, that's a game changer. So much easier to manage your inventory when it comes to that, especially with your hotbars. Can't wave while you're looking at me. Indeed. Say, I'm the best basket weaver. Trying too hard. The pets were counting cards, they were. So overall, pretty good. The Tormentor stuff, that was a long time coming, let's face it. But as far as the lazy tank is concerned, we're not there yet. We've still got a month and a half, maybe 2 months or so, whatever the fuck it is. March, anyway. Just under 2 months before we see it go on live. Anything could change at any moment. But just since we can throw it out there, the lazy tank itself, if you've paid attention to the build, you should be firing time stop first to get their attention so they slowly move into the middle. You should then jump, and your pull, which doesn't stun, from the jump, pulls them all in, and then time stop holds them there. If you still maintain that action, you will still have everything still where you want it. The only thing you've got to do now is the next 4 seconds, you need to manually taunt the targets you want. The first one's already done. And at the same time, jumping into that crowd gives you a fucking huge heal and a resistance bonus. So the application of it is exactly the same, but you are going to have to micromanage more than you're used to. Which means you're going to have to maintain your stamina more than you would before. If you had a full bar before, you're fine. If not, then you're going to have to heavy attack a bit more or take advantage of repentance more when things do actually die. But your actual control, your initial jump into a crowd, is not going to feel any different. And for most people, they jump into a crowd and get the pull, but they don't realize that they haven't actually taunted everything because the pull is wider than the taunt. So they've done the pull and they've got stunned and nothing's taunted. So for those people, I don't think it'll make any difference at all. Long time coming, had to happen. That does mean that Malice is now going to be affected. Malice is basically fucked because that doesn't have the time stop and the jump. That has a jump in and do damage and everything's taunted anyway. So that one will have to be affected quite drastically. It will still be capable of tanking with the two-hander the way it's set up, but it won't taunt loads of stuff. Fuck it. Rip. The good thing is, though, Lazy Sork so far is going to be mad. Absolutely mad. Lazy Sork, Easy Sork, and Bobby stand to be in a very good spot when the new content lands. So still doing multiple jumps would taunt more versus what they did with the chains and only apply once, correct? Well, here's the thing, Mind Distortion. If you jumped in and didn't taunt them anyway, you'd still pull them in manually, and that still does taunt by default, and it will still taunt with the set. The difference is when the set is on, each one that you pull in is going to heal you. So you don't have the area of effect taunt anymore, but you still apply it to the instant target that you hit, and all the damage that you do for hitting all the targets will heal you in return. So you jump in, heal for the big boom, pull, heal, pull, heal, pull, heal, pull, heal. It's not that bad. It actually increases your survival. So, all swings and roundabouts. We'll see. We had fun while it lasted. Now we just got to abuse it for the next month before they delete it. Fucking nuts. Is the Arcanist Keeper build still going to be good? You'll have to wait until it lands to find that out. But there isn't anything that negatively impacts it, no. In fact, there are things that boost it. So Sony said it would have been nice to have with a werewolf tank. Well, people have done for years. This is the second tank Zos is nerfed on purpose. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear indeed. What can we do? Right, people. On that note, I haven't fucking eaten today. I've done an early stream. I am going to jump off. This is normally when I start. I started 2 hours earlier. So, if you missed today's stream, that's there. 1 second, and that's there. PTS patch notes are in both chats right now, Twitch and YouTube. If you missed the majority of today's stream, the VOD is now going to go live. So, Twitch is going to go live. YouTube is going to go live. Very weird streaming at this time of the day and then leaving at this time of night. So, Mike, you're going to have to take it over. But anyway, if you're not following on Twitch, hit the button, it's free. If you're not following on YouTube or subbing on YouTube, hit the button, it's free. And I will most likely be doing the dungeons and the stuff and things tomorrow on stream. So if you don't want spoilers, don't turn up. If you don't mind spoilers, we're going in there. Anyway, people, thank you very much for watching. I hugely appreciate the support and your patience. There was only one person that tried to get ahead of me and thought they were clever. We found that they're not. Everyone else played nice. So thank you very much. Bit and cake in the chat. And stay for the raid. We are going to go and raid someone. Don't go mad about the pat. Whoa! I was leaving and she gave me 5k bits. Fucking hell. You've had it. Thank you for the streams. I have a good rest of your night. Thank you very much. I am going to go and eat because I haven't fucking eaten today. I forgot. Have a good evening. I'm going to raid. Stay for the raid. Thank you for watching. You're all fucking legends. Keeks, you're fucking nuts. Bit and cake in the chat for anyone who enters, leaves, stays, goes and raids, anything. Just flood the chat anyway because you can. See you tomorrow.